Rising with each beat of the music is bringing. We're flames in the fire that keeps burning. We're inviting the night in. Welcome, my heart so full. I'm devoting myself to the night. There's no motive. We're just listening. We're existing. won't tell you what I saw. When you break it up, you'll see who had it all. You had it all. You said you wanted to fall into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. Oh, going fall into oblivion. Into oblivion. Forget about the world we're living in. Fall into oblivion, oblivion. I'm going in. You can't fall asleep when you're counting stars. Get it together. Your mind can't sleep when you let it serve. Now you wanna see me fall.
Welcome, everybody, to your Wednesday night CEA Siege Invite League playoff match. I'm King of Dobashire, and I'm joined tonight with...
I'm CDAPS, and I hope you guys are ready for a really explosive matchup between Penn State and Rochester Institute of Technology. Both of these teams are insanely high-skilled, and they're definitely going to be putting on a show. If you go ahead and look at your screen now, we will be switching over to the bracket of Invite League playoffs that has happened so far.
Yeah, in the previous week, we had Penn State University beat Arizona State University and advance to this match that we are watching tonight. And on the other side of the bracket, we had Carnegie Mellon beat University of Florida, and Carnegie Mellon will go up against Akron Gold this week in a different match. And with that, we're going to look at Penn State's roster.
And if you look at this, a beautiful graphic here, we have the lineup composition for Penn State University being Destroyer, Epic, Jaws, C Nacho, and Vidge. If you go ahead and look at those numbers, if you look all the way on the right of your screen, you can see Vidge, who is one of the most prolific fraggers we've ever had in CEA, especially even in Open. When he finished the regular season, he was at a plus 89, crossing that 200 kill threshold, being that Zofia and Jaeger main you can see here. As well as not that far behind is C Nacho and Destroyer, as well as Jaws also doing quite well, with Epic being on the support, really having his impact not necessarily on the scoreboard, but more so with utility and more nuanced sort of impacts.
And with that, we're going to go to RIT's roster. And with that, we have Blue Card, Daddy West, Mentality, Quetzal, and Rocket. We see here we got a lot of high kills. 4 of the 5 players are over 100 kills, with the highest being Daddy West at 149. And then, as with PSU, we have our support player. We have the Habana and Wamai coming out from Mentality, sitting at still strong 77 kills. So, if you haven't got the gist of this game yet, this is going to be a very high frag game with lots of support coming from both sides. And this is going to be a fantastic match. For our map lineup, we're going to have PSU's pick first. They're going to be going with Bank starting on attack. And then second map will be RIT's pick of Villa with Penn State defending. And our decider will be Border if we get to that tonight.
And so now, as both teams are ready, we should go ahead and get right into it. So first map being Bank, which if you did tune in last week, was a map that we have seen Penn State play a few times on stream, so we definitely know that they're quite strong on it. So I'm definitely interested in seeing how RIT, or Rochester Institute of Technology, is sort of going to have prep worked with their VOD review, maybe done a little bit of strat sessions, and seeing how they're going to try to counter pick, maybe take a map off of Penn State on their own choice. But now as we get right into the bans, Rochester will be taking off the first attacker off the board. I'm most likely going to be predicting to see a Jackal being gone, as Bank is a very roam-heavy map, as actually it's a Thatcher ban, so that's going to allow a lot more hard breaching to occur, or a lot less hard breaching to occur, and it's going to be all that more difficult for these attackers to push in and get the breaching that they want in order to get some clear pathways into sight.
Yeah, we've seen Jackal picked a lot here. Thatcher. We could see a Jackal ban, possibly a Maverick ban. We're going to see that Jackal come out, as he said. So Maverick is still going to be on the board. They're going to have triple hard breach up for all those hatches. So, you know, that basement site is going to be a little bit weaker now. But having the Thatcher out of the board is going to help RIT defend just a little bit better in their first half. Penn State is going to opt to ban out Kide, which is definitely a reaction to that Thatcher ban.
Yeah, if Cade is still allowed on the board once Thatcher is gone, it makes it nearly impossible to get any hatches. The only way you'd be able to get one is maybe sending a Twitch drone down below to find that Electro Claw. But other than that, getting any hatch or vertical play would be very difficult. But we're also seeing a Meister ban come out on the side of RIT. And that's one of those really strong anchoring defenders who you get 2 Evil Eye cams that can shoot lasers and are bulletproof, so you need to waste some sort of explosive utility on it to get rid of it, as well as he has an absolute jet engine of a gun in the form of the Alda, has a really high fire rate, a whole lot of damage, as well as 81 bullets in the mag that can allow you to just absolutely rip through an entire enemy team. Now we're going to see RIT starting on defense as they're going to opt to go downstairs into the basement CCTV lockers area, and they are picking up the Echo with the Mute Mozzie combination, as well as a Smoke and Jaeger. So I'm definitely going to most likely be predicting some sort of roam presence with those Mute Jammers and Mozzie pests, trying to deny any drone intel that Penn State is going to be trying to accumulate as they push forward on their execute.
Yeah, it's also good to notice that a recent balance patch came out for Siege, so some things like Mentality's Jaeger is going to now be 2 speed, 2 armor instead of 3 speed, 1 armor. Some other minor things like Buck losing his frag grenades, Goyo losing one of his Goyo shields. It's a lot to take in for this going into the semifinals match of Invite League, but these players are going to have to adapt. And we're going to see tonight how some of that affects their picks and what operators they play and how they play those operators. With that, we're seeing a pretty somewhat standard hold here. We're not seeing the Mirror come out, even though she is on the board. Instead, they're going to opt, as you said, to take the Smoke and the Echo and sit really on site and hold it down for as long as they can. We're going to see some hatches in Skylight going out, but Blue Card is going to be pretty exposed if PSU can get up close and personal very quickly.
Yeah, he most likely will be playing. Yes, he's setting up inside of blue stairs. Gonna be trying to hold that with his life, as his kit, as being Smoke, is definitely suited well for close quarters engagements with that shotgun SMG-11 combination, as well as his ability to throw those Toxic Babe canisters to burn about 10 seconds of attackers' time, and so they wouldn't be able to push that doorway. We're also seeing Daddy West sit in kind of a sneaky area inside of Elevator on this second floor, as well as with Quetzal real close in behind. And speaking of those balancing patches, Mozzie was also one of those operators that were impacted, as he did lose his secondary shotgun, and that's a whole lot of utility gone, so he will not be able to make those sort of rotate holes and peek holes that some defenders really like to utilize. Also, Vidge and Destroyer are upstairs with Jaws, as they've aggressively pushed out these third floor roamers and are going for a real solid top-down clear with only a minute taken away, has pushed both of those players all the way back to site.
Yeah, with that, as you said, they have third floor control. There's not really anyone to stop them from getting control of second floor. The problem is they have some players to deal with. For instance, in blue stairs, we saw that Smoke, who has rotated back a little bit. So it looks like all of them are mainly around site, with the exception of Quetzal on that main stairwell. That Destroyer is right above. We could see a firefight come out here real quick, but besides that, haven't seen too much action quite yet. Both these teams taking their time, playing very patiently. But with a minute 20 left on the clock, Penn State is going to have to make something happen in the next minute 15.
Yeah, both of these teams do really play into that 20-second meta we love to talk about, where they sort of play really slow and methodical as they push towards site. They really drone out everything and try to waste as much time as possible before everybody will just sort of flash into sight, and there will be a gigantic flurry of gunfights right as the round is about to end. And that's what we're going to expect to see here, as there is only around 45 seconds left, and barely any damage has been done to any players. Only Pennsyl losing about half of his HP, as well as Daddy West still having a nitro. There's actually going to be a gunfight here as Mentality takes down C-Nacho and removes the Maverick off the board. And that is before he finished getting up these hatches, but Epic will be using his exothermic charge here on the default wall to blast open a way to get a plant, as the first Toxic Babe canister does go out from Blue Card. And now as the time is really dwindled down, it's going to be very difficult for this plant to get off because of the lineups that Blue Card's going at, as well as Pennsyl getting a pickup onto Vidge, leaving it in a 5v3. Now Blue Card does throw out his last Toxic Babe canister. It's going to force Epic to get off the plant and wait for the smoke to dissipate, but he's going to be taking some more damage as Daddy West now throws the Nitro Cell over and will connect his Mentality. He gets a triple kill. Wow. That's a flawless round from RIT.
Yeah, I think Mentality is going to end that up with the 4K, actually, because that last triple and then a kill previously in the round. Definitely a good job for Rochester. They're holding their utility till the end. We saw that a C4 and at least 2 of those smoke canisters were saved just for the last 30 seconds. And that completely locked down that default plant spot that Penn State was going for on that thermite charged wall from CCTV into servers. We're now going to see RIT take up Executive Lounge, CEO office on that second floor site. They might be picking the Goyle this time. It looks like, however, Penn State is going to opt to take an Ash instead of the Maverick here, as there's not really any hatches that they have to worry about.
Yeah, there's not really any hatches, but you're definitely going to have to worry about this vertical play down on the second floor as Daddy West opts to pick up that elite pulse pick. He's going to be down below using his cardiac sensor to really feed all the intel to his team as to exactly where Penn State is pushing. He's going to be able to stare at some walls facing outside, see if there's anybody on some repels, as I am predicting that Blue Card and Mentality will be going for a set of impact tricks, trying to deny that wall, as they don't have the traditional mute, Kaid, or bandit picks to really go for a traditional wall denial. And they're going to be using those impact grenades and lobbing them over the top of the walls and hoping that the blast radius does take out either the Hibana charges or the thermite charges, as we are seeing as Epic has picked that operator.
One operator I'm excited to see if we see included in any lineups tonight is Callie on this map, because that long-range 5x or 12x scope sniper could be potentially deadly on the side if a team opts to pick her up. We see Castle being run by Mentality, and that's not only just a normal pick for this site, but it really helps counter the Callie play if Penn State decided to run her, which they did not in this round. But I'd be excited to see her come out tonight, because, you know, she is unlocked along with Wamai, because we are in playoffs. With that, we're getting right into the action as Penn State is droning in stocks and Skylight Stairwell on that second floor. A lot of droning going out. Looks like they might be going for a quick position inside as they have stocks droned out, and note it is clear along with that second floor stairwell area.
However, Daddy West and Pennsyl are both downstairs in open area, and a flurry of shots will be traded out as the Jaeger tries to get somebody off the window, but no damage will be done thus far. Actually, Daddy West is taking about 5 damage here. Probably like 1 or 2 straight bullets through a wall may have clipped him out, but now Pennsyl will drop all the way downstairs and be using a nice angle through an open hatch and an open wall downstairs in basement, trying to catch anybody who pushes an open area off guard. Now Vidge will actually get quite curious as to that sort of setup here, but will just opt to fall away and go back towards square. Daddy West is definitely going to have to continue to stay safe, as his late round impact could be massive with that C4 down below, but does seem Vidge sort of senses where he is just he's going to follow Destroyer's drone here, as he actually will take a whole lot of damage from Pennsyl through that open wall down below. And now Mentality will pick up Vidge upstairs with a nice floor angle from the castle.
Yeah, Mentality sitting at 5 kills already on the second round, doing very good for RIT, but there's still 4 more players to go for RIT to take through to win this round, or, you know, potentially a minute of time to burn. We do see here Daddy West is in a nice position on that first floor, is going to use that cardiac sensor to see that there is someone nearby. Daddy West is going to hold the angle. Here's someone run around. Pennsyl is going to pick up Epic, and looks like Destroyer is going to pick up Daddy West, putting it down at a 3v4 for Penn State.
Yep, but Penn State does not have a whole lot of aggressive map control as they are stacked up near the bottom square area, as well as Blue Card still in a quite aggressive position inside of Janitor, as well as Rocket sitting up near the Kanto position of that corner 90 elevator area, as Quetzal now gets a pick onto Jaws, and Destroyer will take out Rocket accordingly, leaving it still to a 3v2 instance, as Destroyer now picks it up and evens out the trade, as Sinacho gets a pick onto Blue Card, leaving it all up to Mentality here in a 2v1 situation. Sinacho is really lit, and the time is dwindling down, as he now will have the gunfight take down the sledge, but he will instantly be traded out by Sinacho, who clutches up the round and evens up the score for Penn State.
Yeah, that was very good, quick play by Penn State. They're running a little bit low on time and a little bit low on utility and operators, but they won the gunfights they needed to. They won those 1v1, 2v1 encounters that they were put up with, and they did a good job. Again, that's going to get them their first round win of the map, putting it at 1-1, and we're going to see RIT try to take Executive CEO again. They were doing very well at the start. They had a good lead at the beginning in terms of wasting Penn State's time, but they kind of lost it towards the end. They're going to have a little bit of a stronger grasp on the rotations up to that second floor, especially from that main lobby stairwell where they lost. And from there, they kind of just fell apart on their hold. But if they could hold that, they might have a better chance at snatching their second defensive win of the match.
Yeah, and despite the result of this site right here, they will be able to go back downstairs where they were successful on their first defense. However, with Bank being a more defensive-sided map, you definitely want to take a resounding and commanding lead as quickly as possible to set up yourself as you transition into the halftime switch. We're seeing a very similar setup come out as an identical 6th pick did come out, and we see Danny West switched onto the Pulse once again, as well as every other operator pretty much doing the same thing that they've done. They definitely feel as if they had that round in the bag, and maybe just a quick gunfight here and there did seem to just land in the favor of Penn State. So if those sort of slight mistakes are rectified, RIT is definitely going to try to take this round back into their favor.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking at a very close match tonight. If the rounds keep going like they are, I think we're going to see a lot of exciting gameplay. As you said, we're going to get into the third round here. Looks like a very similar start from Penn State. They're spawning at that back alley area, droning in the Skylight second floor, into stocks, down that hallway, and down the stairs near Archives Tellers. And so far, there's no one for them to find. Quetzal is in Archives on the first floor, but I don't think they've spotted him out quite yet. Oh, sorry, my bad. He is actually all the way down in CCTV. He is holding that long angle into open area / kitchen that we saw him holding last time. But Destroyer and Epic are already pushing up as Vidge is going to get an opening pick onto Rocket, taking out the Doc early in the round.
Yep, but we are seeing an impact trick come out from Blue Card, but it will not connect, as we actually see a really interesting strat coming out as Vidge used his explosive lifeline to create a sort of barrier and a little cubby for the thermite charge to go into. As if you do know the physics of how impact charging does work, it's sort of like a tangential force along that plane. It's definitely very complicated to go into as casting. We're seeing Sinacho now get another pick onto Blue Card, and that's a player insight down. Daddy West and Quetzal are both off-site, leaving only Mentality locked up inside of Janitor with a whole slew of attackers gunning at his head.
I mean, this round's not over yet. We have on both teams some of the best fraggers in the league, as Quetzal is going to pick down Destroyer, and with a quick peek, Daddy West is going to respawn and take down Jaws, with Vidge taking out Mentality. All of a sudden, there's no one on site for RIT as Daddy West is injured in Skylight, but Quetzal is the only one left, as Epic is going to plant the diffuser, putting the clock on the defenders.
Yep, and now it's a post-plant situation where it does seem as if Quetzal's going to try to pick up Daddy West to get that extra utility as well as another gun on the table, but time is ticking away in a very quick manner. Now it's a 2v3 with Daddy West being one shot away from death. He's going to be trying to sneak up these back stairs. However, the breaches are already open, so there are lines of sights onto him. As now Daddy West will throw a nitro and take out Vidge as the gunshots are going out, and Epic does take a little bit of damage. However, Quetzal is now out of ammo, and they're almost out of time as both of these players are going to line up at top square, get taken out by Sinacho and Epic respectively, and Penn State will take another round on defense.
Yeah, I think one of the most critical kills of the round was, I forget who it was on Penn State, but they were holding a long angle by that outside garage lobby window onto site, and they got a pick, which left RIT's defense really open on site. And once Penn State got control of site, really hard for RIT to retake that. And we saw that happen here, where getting that site control pretty much prevented RIT from getting that retake in the post plant scenario. And that's going to end up 2 losses in a row on executive CEO's second floor. And now RIT is going to go back to Locker CCTV room. They're going to be looking for another win here, as they do not want to go down 1-3 on defense.
Yeah, if you do remember about 3 rounds ago, first round of this map, RIT actually did a flawless victory on this map, did not lose a single operator on defense, and they're definitely going to be trying to repeat that feat once again, as they do have a very similar operator lineup, I believe completely identical, with the Jaeger, Echo, Smoke, Mute, and Mozzie, as well as a very similar lineup coming out from Penn State, minus C-Nacho switching from the Maverick onto the Habana. That's most likely going to be a little bit easier way to open up these hatches, as there is not a Cade to dampen those hopes of getting that breach off. If you're more comfortable on the Habana, it's definitely an easy way to get 3 hatches, one with each of those X-Cairo pellet sets, as well as maybe if you want your 4th hatch as well, you can still use that extra exothermic charge that Epic has in his pocket as thermite.
Looks like we're going to have blue card reinforcing that hatch into servers from Skylight. But currently, Penn State is pushing from alley access. Looks like all 4 of them spawn there at the very least. The rest of them are going to start droning in on the second floor. They're going to have a few defenders, worry about. Pennsyl is currently there, but is going to drop down elevator all the way to first floor. Looks like they're mostly falling back to site and just opting to hold angles. That's a pretty common strategy on basement on bank.
Yeah, you can sort of show a presence that there are some definitely telltale signs that there were people upstairs, and that is going to linger in the back of the minds as players like Vidge are now being droned by Destroyer and Epic, and definitely having to check every corner upstairs and waste a lot of time going forward on their vertical roam clear. Now Vidge is peeking into elevators, trying to find anybody that might be hiding in a dark corner or just sitting around, but it does seem as if Rocket and Pennsyl and the rest of the roamers have just dropped all the way down to site to play a bit more passive.
We're going to see Epic start to drone out lobby as Vidge is going to drop down with Jaws, coming in right behind. There is a Yaokai drone at the top of that stairwell with Pennsyl right there. This could be a couple frags from either way, depending on how this firefight goes. This could be a round decider here, as 2 picks for RIT will be very advantageous, but control of that stairwell and garage would help Penn State a lot in pushing towards servers. We're going to see C-Nacho open up that Skylight hatch onto servers, as Jaws and Pennsyl are going to get a little bit of firefight, with Pennsyl taking about 25 damage.
Is now going to be trying to peek aggressively again, as now the IQ will get the opening pick, indeed, onto Jaws getting onto Pennsyl, and that's the Mozzie down. That's a Nitro Cell off the board, as well as a very good gun and a very good fragger, as now the Habana is going to use the rest of her X-Cairo pellets to open up those open area hatches and allow a sort of plan B if they really need to drop into sight, as well as opening up some nice angles that cut a lot of rotations pushing towards this A site. Epic's most likely going to be coming down, and breaching this default wall with about 30 seconds left, and they're going to have to definitely push in and get quite aggressive. As now we're seeing one of those vertical angles be utilized, but it will not manage to line up the shot here, as it's a little bit of a struggle fest, as now Mentality has dropped to about 50 HP. But if you're Jaws, you definitely feel like that should have been your kill, especially now as Rocket gets a pick onto Vidge and Daddy West takes out C-Nacho. The blue card's just going to keep on throwing his toxic babes over this wall to deny this default plant. Mentality's going to be looking to peek again, try to get another triple kill like he did the other round. He's now prone peeking, looking at these players in server, and Daddy West and blue card both get a kill with the SMG-11, and will end this round once again in the favor of Rochester, and will tie up the map at 2-2.
Yeah, RIT can't seem to lose that site, but can't seem to win CEO office. Looks like they're going to try to go back there, as Lockers is now locked away. And if they lose this, all of a sudden we're looking at a position where Penn State is doing better than expected on attack and bank, as it usually tends to be defender sided. And if RIT loses this one, then Penn State's in a nice position to take their own map and win map 1, but there's still a lot of rounds left to play, and anything could happen. Again, we have a lot of high bracket potential on both of these teams, and this is going to be a great round and potentially a round to swing the momentum in the way of either team.
Yeah, now we're seeing blue card switch off of that Goyo onto a more traditional mute pick. And I do believe that that's because of his inability to get that impact trick off last round. Now they're just going to opt to just put mute jammers on there and waste some more time. Maybe have to force Jaws on the IQ to go down below, or maybe even somebody is going to have to go on those windows to get rid of those jammers. So we're also going to see very similar operator choices. Rocket's going to be playing that elevator's corner, affectionately called Kanto position after the pro player for G2, who has made that position very powerful and very strong indeed with operators such as Doc with the ACOG for those long-range engagements. We're also going to see blue card dropping all the way downstairs, probably giving some mute jammers to help Pennsyl, who's been sort of just creeping around downstairs, trying to get these late flanks and using some really creative angles to catch people off guard. So now we're seeing a lot of attackers pushing over towards this default alley push. They're going to be popping open stock room and going to be getting some drone work to see exactly how RIT is set up.
See, Nachos are going to use one of those ash charges to open up some utility on that site area. It looks like that large castle barricade onto B site is going to be broken, and all of a sudden that's one of the sites actually both being able to be shot from that long angle. So we're going to have Rocket deal with that from the side of RIT, as C Nacho is just trying to get any shots off they can early in the round. Vidge is already pushed up onto hallway, and they're doing a very good job at making a lot of progress very quick. Only a minute into the round, and Penn State has control of Skylight area.
And so we're going to see most likely the Buck try to... Actually, Buck does not have grenades anymore. That's a little bit of something I'm going to have to get used to, as usually you would have the Buck open up the top of that roof and try to chuck one of those frag grenades over to destroy the mute jammer. However, he cannot do that anymore after this most recent patch, as we're also going to see C Nacho popping around those windows trying to find Rocket once again, but he will be knocked all the way down to 50 HP as Rocket overheals himself as the Flying Frenchman.
Vidge is going to take damage. Sorry, Vidge is actually going to take down Rocket. My bad. That is the Doc down, and Destroyer is going to take down Daddy West. All of a sudden, Pennsyl is going to respond, however, by taking out Jaws. Is a 3v4 situation for RIT, and it seems like we're getting kind of almost a repeat of the previous round here. Drones are coming in, and C-Notch is going to take down Mentality. All of a sudden, site control is mostly there as Destroyer takes down blue card. It's all to Pennsyl, who just take down Vidge with epic firing shots in that direction.
The diffuser's going down, and it's a 3v1 clutch instance as the weight of the world is now falling onto Pennyl's shoulders, and he only has about 30 HP left. With people such as Epic and Destroyer on full health, they're just holding angles, and Pennsyl will fall right into the hands of Destroyer. He will take another round and secure at least a tied half for Penn State going forward.
Yeah, and that's very good for Penn State on their own map. I would not be surprised if Rochester opted to go Archives Tellers on this round. Maybe pull out a different strat. It seems like CEO on that second floor really isn't working for them all that well. And maybe it's just not necessarily their map. Maybe it's not necessarily their site. But, Tellers Archives, winning this round would be very beneficial because it kind of slows down Penn State's momentum that they've been building. They've already won 3 rounds against RIT in this half, and winning a 4th would spell big momentum boost for Penn State.
Yep, you definitely want to get at least 4 rounds on defense if you're a defending bank. However, RIT are not able to do that feat. They have not been able to complete that, and the best that they can do is get a 3-3 half. And if you're now Penn State, you're smelling some blood in the water, and you're going to try to ice out this map as much as possible. If you're able to get 4 rounds on attack, you're going to be in the most comfortable driving seat you've been in a while on bank, as you get to switch to defense, and that's probably where they are very comfortable, as this is their map pick. So now we're seeing the first floor site of Teller's archives being utilized for the first time. And what's really interesting about this site is how the first floor, the bomb sites below lie completely underneath some soft floors. As we saw, the defense on the CEO room last time is going to have to be repeated, as you want to try to hold on to that vertical control as much as possible for as long as possible to really protect your anchors that are down below. That's why we see Blue Card going ahead and electrifying those breach walls, going to try to take away a whole lot of time, as players such as Destroyer are going to try to get into CEO and blast away that floor to expose the defenders down below.
Bug, Sophia, and Ash are all great operators for getting control of that second floor and breaking down above and really just cutting off angles that RIT can anchor at. We see Vig here already looking towards Skylight. Looks like C-Nacho is actually going to take it from servers in basement, and that's going to be an interesting push, as they're going to be allowed to squeeze from above and below on RIT. Some shots are going out, not exactly sure where. It looks like just some pot shots from one team or another. C-Nacho is actually going up blue stairs already, and this could be a great position to hold, as now you cut off RIT's rotation from Kitchen. It looks like someone is down, as Pennsyl is going to take out Vig on the Mentality. Is actually going to take out Destroyer. All of a sudden, it's a 3v5 in favor of RIT.
Yeah, that was a great wallbang from Mentality on the castle, really decimating a whole lot of the vertical play we were going to see, as Vig and Destroyer are the soft breachers of this team, as well as now the Ash will fall at the hands of Blue Card with that MP7 Black Ice Gun looking very pretty. And it's all up to Jaws and Epic here. Being the IQ and the Thermite, however, they're going to have to take a 2v5 instance, and players such as Daddy West are down below with this cardiac sensor, is going to be relaying this information for the timing of when Blue Card is to flip the switch on that nitro cell, as that is around near where the breach is open. So if anybody wants to enter into CEO, they might catch a nitro cell underneath their feet.
Luckily for Penn State, Jaws is playing IQ, and notice that C4, so they're going to opt to actually go through stocks. However, that's going to be a little bit hard for them, as now it's easy for them to be caught out. Jaws sees the C4, but not much they can really do, as it looks like the C4 might have just gone off there. Epic is currently sitting in stocks, going to push it down Holly, but there are multiple defenders from RIT up top. Pennsyl is going to peek, but not going to see anyone yet, as both of the attackers have fallen back. Epic is pushing up hard, though, but is actually going to take down Pennsyl. It's a 2v4 situation with 30 seconds left in the round, as it looks like Mentality is going to push, who is going to get Jaws, but Jaws is... Sorry, Epic, but Jaws is going to refrag onto Mentality. It's just up to Jaws after Epic went down. Jaws has the diffuser. Penn State has 20 seconds left.
Yeah, he may have the diffuser, but he doesn't have much time, as there's about 15 seconds left. Cams are on his location now, and there's going to be 3 players he needs to take down. He doesn't have quite enough time to go for a plant, so he's going to have to go for frags, but Rocket will in turn take him out and tie up the half once again, as this has been a very back and forth half of Bank. So I'm definitely interested to see how everything breaks down after this side switch.
The RIT is going to have to do top performance here. They're going to have to come away with at least 3 rounds on this attacking phase for them, because if they get the 6-6 tie here, they could go into overtime where they have a chance to redeem themselves in those final 3 rounds and really get it back. And we're already seeing different lineups. We're seeing the Capital come out, the Gridlock come out, and those are operators we have not seen played yet, along with a Valkyrie and Mira. It seems like both of these teams have different ideas of how to play Bank, and we're about to get a taste of what these teams want to do here as we go down to Locker's CCTV first floor, basement floor, that is.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever actually seen a Mira get allowed through on Bank in a competitive scene, and to see it at this high of a level is definitely going to be interesting with how these attackers are going to try to sort of cancel out her gigantic impact she can have. There's also not a Hibana who could breach her windows away from range. So pushing into server is definitely going to be quite the daunting task ahead, as Jaws will be able to just sit behind that reinforced wall with the see-through bulletproof window that Mira carries in her pocket, and be able to lob nitros over that wall with a whole lot of intel that she can gather, as well as we're going to see Destroyer probably holding a very similar angle to what we saw Blue Card use on the defensive rounds for RIT, as he will most likely have some nice long smoke throws that will land right near that breach and door area to deny the sort of default plant we see attackers try to go for.
Yeah, I feel like Mentality's Capital pick could be a great counter to that mirror window, but that's going to require Mentality to be alive and actually get an angle onto that mirror window, and that can be pretty difficult. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't go for that server default plant, although that might be their goal, as a lot of them did spawn back alley. However, we do have, looks like Quetzal is outside, going to try to get some early picks or some early map control all the way out in lobby, as Vidge on the Jaeger is going to be chilling up in CEO, is actually going to be droned out. And unfortunately for him, he's going to have to rotate off of that position relatively soon or be pushed by RT, knowing that he is there.
Yeah, and Vidge is one of those players on the Jaeger that you do not want to leave alive at the end of the round, because his flank work definitely can spell disaster for your push. You've seen he's managed to pick up 200 kills during the regular season, and that is not a mistake by any means. We're also seeing Quetzal going upstairs trying to hunt out wherever Vidge may lie. He's going to probably have to have some backup. We're seeing a whole army of drones go towards and start giving pings to location. So now Mentality does pick up Vidge, and the roamer is gone.
Yeah, we have an opening pick from RIT, and that's definitely a good start to this half for them. They definitely need every attack win they can get. But with only a minute 30 left on the clock, they're going to have to start making their way downstairs. We see everyone from RIT is almost on their drone. 4 drones going out right now, with the exception of Daddy West, who's pushing through open area with Rocket coming down to help out their team. Daddy West is going to try to open up that hatch onto that red hallway between sites, as Mentality and Blue Card are going to look to push down towards servers.
And that's where C-Nacho is waiting, as now the hatch will open up. He's going to take some bullets out here, but the AUG will reign supreme as Blue Card now falls, and that's the primary hard breacher of Thermite gone, leaving only Daddy West, if he does have enough gas left in his torch, to break it open. But he will break open the head of C-Nacho, as he does get an opening pick from the hatch, leaving just Jaws, Epic, and Destroyer alive in a 3v4 instance.
Quetzal is going to see that there are some Wamai magnets on top of that door frame, but Daddy West is going to actually try to use that blowtorch to open up a little bit of a plant hole, but they're running a little bit low on time with only 25 seconds left. You're going to have to plant quick. Quetzal has a diffuser and is actually going to be smoked out. Looks like PSU could have a chance here to just lock RIT out of any hopes of planting, as there are smoke grenades and a C4 left alive along with that Yaokai drone. But Mentality is actually going to go through and have control, but the C4 from Jaws is going to take up Mentality. Quetzal is down, and all of a sudden 2 of them are down. It's just up to Rocket, who's going to be taken down by Jaws. Penn State is going to win a very strong victory in that late round push.
Yeah, it was looking really good from RIT coming forward, as they did get the really good roam clear off, and Vidge fell quite easily. Not a whole lot of pushback here, but once they started pushing into sight, having the thermite fall at the hands of the Wamai player and server left a not favorable outcome, as you were forced to wait and for Maverick to breach that hole, and that's a lot slower than blowing up an exothermic charge, as well as does not give you as many angles as you would like to maybe see if the mirror was peeking out from her window, maybe shoot a nitro out of the air, something like that. With just a small little hole in access to site, it was just really difficult to get the rest of those anchors out. And the operators that were left on the table, being Mira, Echo, and Smoke, is just not a combination you want to go up against as time is dwindling away, with them being some of the most powerful late round anchors that you could come up against.
Yeah, with the exception of Maestro, those are probably the last 3 operators you want to try to get any sort of attack when you're trying to plant the diffuser late round. We're going to go up to Executive Office CEO on the 2nd floor. And we saw RIT lose this 3 times on defense. It was the only defensive rounds that they lost. But we're going to see how PSU defends this, and if they can pull away to a 5-3 lead against RIT with this round. Once you hit 5 points, you become very dangerous, as once you hit 6, you at least guarantee that you will tie the normal game and potentially move it to overtime, depending on whether you hit 7 or tie 6-6. And that's something RIT wants to prevent. They're going to need every win they can on attack to try to at least tie or clutch out this game after a less than ideal first half. But there's still a lot of round of play as we just started. 2 minutes, 45 seconds left on the clock. It seems like RIT is doing a nice push from all around. They have 1 spawning from jewelry, 1 spawning from garage, and 3 spawning from back alley.
Yep, and so they're going to be trying to get a lot of aggressive map control, as it does seem only Vidge is roaming on the side of PSU. The rest of these attackers are right next to site, going to be trying to hold it as Vidge is working his way up blue stairs, going to see if anybody wants to enter in from this alley electrical room. And since they didn't, he's going to have a nice little corner to sit in that most attackers won't think twice about as they run on past. It's also going to give him a nice access into open area, which a lot of attackers might want to try to push forward towards and get that control over towards main stairs, as well as spread out into archives to get below, such as with Pennsyl on the IQ, to try to destroy any of the anti-breaching measures that the defenders have put, as Daddy West is going to be on this window aggressively peeking upside down, trying to find anybody that might be rotating around in sight, as well as throw some flashbangs here, actually frag grenades, to try to take out a player that he sees behind the bomb chassis.
Yeah, that could be a nice pick, as that is Jaws on the bandit, and if they take him out, that is a C4 and 1 shotfire off the board. Those XCars are going to go down, but Jaws is not actually going to be able to bandit trick it, and those will go off. RIT at least has to deal with 1 angle, or RIT has 1 angle to use, sorry, on Penn State. His mentality is going to pick up Epic, and that's the first pick of the round.
And that's the Echo being taken off the board, who we saw be so impactful as the late round win. And that's most ideally not the first pick that you want to go down if you are defending. However, that might make the attackers just that little bit more excited as they can push into sight with a whole lot less intel sweeping around in them. But C-Nacho will even the score back up at 4-4 as he goes down into main lobby and will take Daddy West off of those dangerous rappels that he was holding. But the rest of the attackers are pushing towards this stock area, as well as Janitor, trying to force the player who's residing inside to feel a lot of discomfort, as well as they might try to fully take him out. But Vidge is at the bottom of Skylight Stairs, going to most likely be trying to punch out those gridlock track stingers to get a nice flank onto the attackers that are sitting outside of the breach that they just opened.
They're just going to be rotating through tellers as a lot of firefights are coming out. It's a 4v4 makes out 4v3. C-Nacho takes out Blue Car with only 15 seconds left in the round. John's going to take down Pennsyl. All of a sudden, RIT has to plant. Rocket has to defuse it, but it's a 1v4 as Vidge takes out Mentality. The plant is going down behind that soft wall. Vidge is actually going to take down C-Nacho in a team kill, but is going to get the final kill onto Rocket. Penn State is going to do what RIT could not do and win defense on second floor.
Yeah, Vidge is just such a prolific fragger. He takes out anybody that moves, and in this instance, it was his teammate who ran right into his trail of bullets as he smelled the blood in the water and really wanted that frag onto the helpless planting player. So now it is a 5-3 in the favor of Penn State, and they will be going down to Teller's office and archives, which is one of those sites that they're going to have a very similar setup to how they just held CEO and try to hold as much vertical presence as possible.
Yeah, I agree that the Teller's Archive is definitely the right site pick over open area. It's usually not a site we see pulled out very often here at CEA or in Pro League. But if Penn State wins this, all of a sudden they are at 6-3 with a 3-round momentum gain on RIT, and that would be pretty big for them. We're going to have a 6 pick from Epic to Wamai, and Daddy West is going to switch to Hibana. And I personally like how we're seeing at least Wamai get a lot of play as a brand new operator allowed into CEA at the start of playoffs.
Yeah, he's one of those operators that a lot of people, once he was announced, thought spelled the end of the Jaeger reign. However, I think his pick inside the meta has been more of a supplement to the traditional Jaeger pick, as a whole lot of operators have frag grenades and other throwables that are so powerful on offense. You do need as many of those magnets and ADSs as possible to protect your valuable defending gadgets, especially if you have somebody like a Goyo bringing those explosive shields that acts as a gigantic utility sponge that the ADSs and the magnets will synergize really well with to just take away all of the Ash charges, all of the lifeline bullets from Zofia, as well as any frag grenades from players such as Buck and Maverick, as well as Sledge. Actually, Buck does not have frag grenades anymore. That's going to take me a little while to get used to.
Yeah, F in the chat for Buck frags. Unfortunately, is going to lose that set, but we're going to see Mentality pick up Sledge for those frag grenades. Currently sitting at 10 and 6, definitely nicely sitting in that double-digit kill range. But, you know, there's some other players very close. We have Destroyer at 8 kills, along with C Nacho in, I believe it was Daddy West sitting at 7. Mentality is shooting. Oh, sorry, it's Pennsyl sitting at 7. My bad. We currently have a lot of fire coming out and drones coming out from RIT as they're doing what Penn State does and try to get control of the second floor as quick as possible. But they're going to have to deal with Vidge, who is sitting in that CEO desk, boss of the second floor.
Yeah, it's definitely a really interesting, like, sort of composition that Penn State does, where they always just send Vidge to roam in a very powerful position, just sort of let him loose in a 4+1 kind of setup. But Daddy West is already going to be inside of open area and will be using the X Kairos to carve his path into sight, as well as some other sort of angles. But Epic is already pushed up aggressively on it and will be using the AUG to take out the hard breacher. However, Habana's role has already been done, but it's always nice to have another gun here as Mentality gets a beautiful headshot onto C Nacho, but he's down at around 5 HP, and it is a 4v4 still left as Blue Card is going to be crouching around inside of open area, trying to find any defender gadgets that he can see on his IQ scanner, as well as Rocket peeking around the flank, most likely throwing down some track stingers to stop players such as Vidge from getting behind.
Destroyer is going to take down Mentality. Penn State is in the lead in operator count, but they have to keep holding sight. RIT, although down in operator, still has 50 seconds left to make a move. They are looking towards that archive site as Vidge is still actually upstairs. Destroyer is going to take down Pennsyl. All of a sudden, RIT is in a peculiar situation as although they do have Diffuser, Vidge and Destroyer are on second floor. However, Blue Card seems to know that Destroyer is there and they could get a kill from below that hatch as Destroyer is peeking down open area. No kills coming out from either side quite yet with 20 seconds left in the round.
Yep, so now the shotgun of Rocket's going to blast open that window, and most likely they're going to try to jump on through. But with players such as Destroyer still above, he's going to take some shots and drop Blue Card and the Diffuser down, as well as drop down onto Rocket and get the double kill with that Commando 9. Going to do a nice stylish flip reload, as well as the knife on the ground to celebrate another round for Penn State.
Yeah, with that, Penn State is going to guarantee overtime on their map as they're sitting at 6 round wins. If RIT wins the next 3 out of 3 rounds, then they go into a 3-round overtime. Rounds 13, 14, and 15 will be played on bank. However, if Penn State defends one of the next 3 rounds successfully, they win their map. And that would be very nice for them, especially carrying that momentum into RIT's map on Villa. And we are going to see the Lockers CCTV, which a team has failed to attack successfully yet tonight. And this could spell disaster for RIT as they're going to have to go up against Echo, Mira, and Smoke, 3 of potentially the top 5 anchors that you can go up against. And that's going to be a very tall order for them.
Yeah, seeing the alibi pick coming up from C Nacho is going to force the 6th pick away from the Zofia onto the IQ, as the IQ scanner will be able to spot out who are the fakes and who is the real among the Prisma holograms that Alibi can throw down. As well, she does have a very powerful gun in the form of the MX4 Storm. It has a really high fire rate, and just the MX4 does go real fast and can take down a whole lot of players if they are to line up. We're also seeing Jaws take some more rotation holes with her Spanish shotgun down below, as well as Destroyer making an even deeper angle to throw those smoke canisters if the attackers are going to try to push the server once again. The C Nacho runs all the way upstairs, most likely will be roaming on a deep level with Vidge, trying to waste as much time as possible of the attackers.
And I think that forcing the 6-pick IQ is going to be critical. Although it does hurt Epic a little bit, in terms of those Yaokais are going to be easily spotted by the IQ. Those, that mirror is going to be a little bit more safe now that Zophia's off the board. Does not have to worry about the impacts or the concussions from Zophia's lifeline. And now Jaws can kind of just sit there as long as Penn State keeps control of Garage. It's going to be very hard for RIT to really do too much here. But it looks like we have Pennsyl already going up the lobby stairs. C-Nacho is waiting at the end of that hallway, and we could see a very early pick within the first minute here from either team. Pennsyl is going to peek around and take out C-Nacho. One of the top frags for Penn State is off the board. That is the alibi down for the count.
Yep, and Pennsyl does take the rest of the aggressive map control with Rocket, but Vidge is sitting at the bottom of main stairs trying to stop this push that the gridlock is putting forward. He's holding a nice deep angle, but he might be screwed over a little bit by those railings that, if you do play a lot of Siege, you probably hate taking gunfights between, because they seem to block all of your bullets but none of your opponents. But now Daddy West will be going into open area and using these X Kairos to full effect and opening up the vertical angles that RIT is going to need to push out of that Mira from red, as Jaws is still just sitting here waiting for anybody to push into server.
Yeah, opening that hatch is going to be pretty critical for RIT. As you said, Jaws now has to watch not only that server area, but also that hatch as Rocket takes down Vidge. RIT is gaining some good ground here. They could win the first attack round that we see tonight against that basement site, but there's still a minute left in the round to play. They still have to get the diffuser down, and they still have to find a way to deal with the C4 and smokes from Destroyer. One of those smoke grenades is going to go up, so there's only 2 of them left, along with Mirror C4. But with only 50 seconds left of the round, they're going to have to find a way to use that, and it looks like they have, as Mentality is going to fire an Incendiary Bolt, and Pennsyl is going to take out Epic. They're pushing it just onto Jaws and Destroyer.
Yeah, RIT was able to get server control a lot faster than they have before, and that's allowing them to stack up inside server and waste all of the utility from the smoke, but the smoke will smoke Pennsyl on the hatch with a great headshot from that SMG-11 as now Rocket throws down these track stingers to block any sort of, or actually a smoke grenade to block some rotations. Destroyer gets another pick on a Daddy West, and that's another vertical player gone. However, Rocket is sitting in garage, as well as the rest of the players are over near server. Blue card's holding a really deep angle all the way from the 3rd floor through this hatch as the other player is sitting prone in dirt. Rocket will take out Destroyer as Jaws gets a wonderful headshot onto Mentality, but now Rocket's down behind and will finish out the round and take a round back for Rochester Institute of Technology at a 6-4 scoreline.
Yeah, that round's going to put them just a little bit closer to overtime, but they still have to win 2 more rounds. And Locker CCTV is still open, so RIT is going to have to do that thing again, but better, as we're going to see Penn State adapt just a little bit to how RIT plays that. Try to find some new ways or potentially fix some mistakes and get the 7th round that they so desperately need to win their own map.
Yeah, taking your own map is almost a necessity if you want to win a best-of-3 series, and it's going to be the main goal of Penn State. Is they just need one more round to achieve that feat. But with players such as Mentality and Pennsyl leading, RIT are not gonna go over quite easily, as they want to get the map off of Penn State, pardon me, and put themselves into a really advantageous position going in towards Villa.
Yeah, and RIT really likes to play Villa. In previous seasons, we've seen them do very well on the map, and they definitely know how to play it, as Villa has not really changed too much, as the introduction of some of the newer operators, with the exception of Goyo and Kelly and Wamai, aren't really meta shifting enough to say, like, hey, we need to play the site this way now. And they are definitely going to be forced to be reckoned with Penn State going up against them. But so far, Penn State is holding the lead against Rochester, currently at a 6-4 scoreline, as you can see at the top center of your screen. With 1 second left in the prep phase, we are starting round 11, and this could be the final round of the map, or we could potentially see a 6-5 scoreline going into overtime. You never know.
Was the you never know, and that's how Siege is. But that was the first successful attack of basement that we've seen in this entire game so far, as Rochester went perfect on it, as well as Penn State winning it their first time around. But with the adjustments coming out from Rochester, they did seem to get the better of Penn State on that last round, and they're going to be trying to repeat it once again, as there is still a very similar lineup, minus Epic switching onto the Wamai off the Echo. He did maybe feel that if his Yokai drones weren't doing enough, he will just go ahead and switch to the Wamai and really beef up the anti-throwable meta with Vidge's Jaeger ADSs.
I think the key thing with that Wamai pick is that one of the biggest reasons that RIT won that round is because they managed to flush out Jaws into a very bad position in that red hallway. And if you have Wamai, all of a sudden you no longer have those Capital bolts 100% of the time. And you can divert those instead of into red, you can divert them potentially under the desk and CCTV, where they're essentially useless to RIT. And that's going to be pretty big if they can end that Capital. As we see, we are going to have one of the defenders. C-Notch is actually going to be pushed out into dirt. It's going to be spotted. I'm not sure what they're quite doing. Potentially going up that ladder and trying to get back in through main lobby. Definitely an interesting strategy. Going to opt to go back down, kind of in a very poor position here. But minute 10 left in the round. Going to definitely waste some time off of Mentality and friends pushing into that server site.
So now Pennsyl is just going to go and place a Claymore down there, and now C-Nacho stuck between a rock and a hard place, as the server control is given all the way to players such as Blue Card and Mentality, as he will go ahead and open up this wall with about 45 seconds left, and that is just enough time to burn all of the smoke canisters, as Epic will toss another magnet in there to maybe block out the final firebolt coming out of Mentality's crossbow. So now Blue Card will just aggressively go for the plant, but the smoke grenades will go down, and he will be taking a whole lot of damage, but he will get the diffuser off right before dying, putting it into a post-plant situation. C-Nacho is still detected. Mentality's his focus is going to be diverted towards dirt, with the rest of his attackers pushing forward the rest of the way. Now Daddy West takes out Vidge and Epic here, as Pennsyl now finally picks up C-Nacho's, whose life was very prolonged by a quite interesting play to just run outside and be detected. But it's a 4v2 as Destroyer now goes down, and it's just left up to Jaws unless he's going to be able to revive him. But now Daddy West will finish up his kill, and he's looking for the 4K as time fully dwindles away, and he will finish it off with a great round as Rochester will take basement once again.
Yeah, and this is going to be an absolutely critical round. We're on round 12, potentially the last round of this map. Now, if you're Penn State, you're asking yourself, do we try to go Lockers, a very strong site, probably one of the strongest sites in the game, and hold it again against RIT, who's won it twice in a row? Or do we go maybe CEO second floor that we won, or potentially Teller's Archives? And that's actually what they're going to do. They're going to hover over Teller's Archives, won't be locked in quite yet, as there are 9 seconds left in their decision phase. You're going to take Mira Wamai. I would not be surprised if they 6-pick off that Mira to kind of fake out their pick on site. I would not be surprised if, we instantly saw a Jaw 6-pick off. And yep, as I called it, we're going to see a 6-pick off and mute. So our team might be in for a little bit of a roller coaster here, as we're going to go to Teller's Archives, a tertiary site, when both of the other sites are unlocked on match point.
Yeah, that's a really interesting sort of fake out, that we see from Penn State, as we're not seeing any soft breaching capability for RIT except the shotgun that Gridlock has in her back pocket, and that could spell disaster for RIT trying to attack this bomb site. However, we saw them go for more of a horizontal take as opposed to a vertical take, really focusing their efforts towards the open area wall and getting that breach open. However, when you have the mute jammers on that wall, you're gonna have to go above with your IQ to try to remove those as quickly as possible to allow and facilitate your breaching to occur.
Yeah, I mean, this is the definition of a gambit in Siege. If I've ever seen one, you're losing you're losing the utility of picking a really strong site for the utility of surprise and possibly a pocket strat that we haven't seen Penn State play. And this could be definitely an interesting round because we're going to have Vidge once again on second floor. Jaws is going to accompany him. Destroyer is actually going to get the opening pick on a Quetzal, and that is IQ off the board.
Yep, and that's a really great angle we saw come out. As actually, was it a run out from downstairs? Yeah, it was a run out from Garage, taking away the repelling Quetzal, as now Destroyer is trying to watch his back, as the rest of RIT most likely knows his current location. He's actually going to be repositioning his drones to give a whole lot of intel and act as a dynamic cam for the rest of the defenders, as now a drone will now spot out the Capitao pushing in through stock, and this information will be relayed towards us. Now they spot another player upstairs, and they know it's most likely going to be a heavy upstairs take from RIT, as they know they have to try to get into CEO to get rid of these mute jammers down below, but Vidge is going to be standing in their way as he's crouched in towards CEO, trying to stay safe from the window play of Daddy West.
Yeah, Vidge, currently the CEO of that second floor, is really holding tight on those angles, probably playing a little bit aggressive to get a pick, is taking shots from that long hallway. Daddy West is still on the rappel, and Towdy's actually pushing in pretty quick, and we could see Vidge get taken out, and Vidge is going to be injured and finished off by Daddy West. It's now a 4v4. RIT has good control of second floor, but with 1 minute and 10 left in the round, it's going to be a large rush at the end if they don't get some of this opened second floor to first floor angles really quick.
Yeah, Vidge may have died without a kill on that roam, but I will still say it's successful, as he was able to kill around 2 minutes of the attacker's time, and there's not a whole lot of soft breaching going on inside of CEO because only Rocket has the capability. So now a lot of drone work is going to have to be done, as we're going to have to sort of see a secondary push as Daddy West goes down main stairs. Most likely would be trying to breach that teller's wall unless it is mute jammed, which it is not.
That wall is soft, so Rocket is going to burst it open, but Destroyer is in such a strong position. Daddy West does not know that Destroyer is there. Destroyer, we saw, is going to sneak around, actually going to pick up one onto Daddy West, is going to throw the C4, is just going to miss the other one, but is going to go rotate around, but with 12 seconds left on the clock, Jaws is going to take down Mentality with Blue Card picking up C Nacho. Jaws is going to get another one onto Blue Card. It's a 1v3 for RIT, and Penn State closes out the game, winning 7-5 against RIT on bank.
And that will spell the end of the first map of this best of 3 series, as Penn State takes a 1-0 lead on their own map pick with a score of 7-5. Destroyer having a real showing out there, really destroying the competition, as Sinacho and Jaws also both put out very strong efforts as well. We're going to see 17 kills coming out from Destroyer, and nobody else really close to his impact that he had on the scoreline. So we're going to go ahead and go to around a 5-minute break to allow these teams to recuperate, re-talk, maybe go to the bathroom, get some water, something like that, as well as give us casters a little bit of a break. So we will be back on Villa momentarily.
From far away they came to us with
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to get right back into the action on Game 2 of this best-of-3 Invite League semifinals between Penn State and Rochester Institute of Technology. We're going to get right back into the action. If you did miss the first map, it was Bank, and Penn State narrowly managed to edge it out in a 7-5 fashion. We're going to see the first bans coming out on the attackers for Villa, and it will be the Jackal being dropped.
Yeah, I mean, with 3 floors, granted the basement floor isn't the most utilized on Bomb, but it is a very good floor if you want to roam. And Jacko is going to be very strong against that roam, but Rochester on the attack is going to ban out the Thatcher. That's the second map in a row tonight. Thatcher's not going to see any play. No one wants to play with poor Thatcher anymore. And speaking of that, Mirror's going to be out this time. We saw Mirror play a very heavy presence on basement in Bank that last map, and she's actually going to be gone, whether that's a default ban here or that's just a reaction to how much teams did not like playing against her.
Yeah, only Penn State was the team to utilize the Mira, so RIT getting off the board is sort of just reactionary. I don't want to deal with that again because Mira's a very hard operator to get rid of if you have a strong team composition, as well as now the Echo is going to get banned, as Echo was picked pretty much every single round on defense by both of these teams. Now we're going to see Penn State taking the first defense, utilizing the Aviator Games Room, as well as utilizing the Maestro, the Kaid, the Wamai. I'm going to assume Vidge is going to take Jaeger. Yes, he does. He always does, and he does a great job on it. And Sinacho taking Rook for these long-range engagements.
Yeah, Maestro and Kaid banned on Bank. First time we're going to see them coming out tonight. The Mirror ban is also going to be nice against Aviator Games Room because she turns that site into a very hard site to hold, because all of a sudden you have 2 mirror windows looking at you on study, and there's really not much you can do about it short of getting kills from Vault or going around or somehow using X-Kairos to catch a mirror off guard. But that's very hard and something RIT is not going to have to deal with, as the mirror is banned off. But we are going to see Nomad come out. Has not seen much play at all tonight. And we did talk about the Maestro and the Kaid not being banned and being...
Yep, and I think the Rocket being switched onto the Nomad's going to be a reactionary pick, exactly how Vidge was able to play on the last game. In Bank, RIT was more in favor of using the Gridlock as a flank watch, but Vidge was just able still to just punch out those track stingers, and with all the guns firing and bullets flying around, utility being dumped everywhere, that noise of the track stingers being destroyed was sort of drowned out and was minimized as Vidge was just still able to get flanks off. But when you pick an operator such as Nomad, it's definitely a way more aggressive way to deny the flank, as when a lurking roamer does hit one of those air jabs, it's a lot louder of a sound. It knocks them down on the ground for about 3 or 4 seconds and puts them into a state of vulnerability, that he will most likely just be taken out if he's unfortunate enough to run into him.
It's going to look like RIT is pushing from that art studio area on that first floor, right below study. Destroyer, the top frag of the entire last map, is sitting on that stairwell and is going to be droned out by Daddy West. Is going to opt to push up just a little bit, but RIT has nice control of that first floor pocket, but that's not the floor they need to hold. They're going to have to push up that main stairwell or another stairwell, or they're going to have to face Daddy West. Is going to have to take out Destroyer, as they are both coming to a head right here on the stairwell.
We're seeing Daddy West just blasting an Ash charge all the way up onto the first floor, opening up a deep angle towards Classical Hall, really forcing Destroyer to fall all the way back to 90, and that's going to make sure that Study can be taken just that little bit easier, as now we're seeing Quetzal creep his way up the main stairs and push all the way into that Classical Hall that they just cleared out, as Destroyer will now just fall fully back to sight and relinquish that control solely into the hands of C-Nacho, who's going to be trying to use that MP5 ACOG to hold these long-range engagements from these players pushing forward. Now some more pot shots are going to go out, as Quetzal is getting a little bit of a pre-fire going on, maybe trying to catch C-Nacho slipping just a little bit, but he actually will just drop it down below and help the Ash in breaking the floor to allow this breaching to go on onto the bar wall. Actually, with all of that underneath destruction, the Cage Charge actually has managed to survive, as it is kind of snuck away in the corner. Actually will finally get destroyed at the hands of one of the attackers, and the X-Cairo pellets are gonna start popping off, allowing an entry to site, and Mentality will get the opening pick onto Vidge, playing the Jaeger inside of Vault, and that's a prolific fragger down off the board, leaving it into a 4v5 with about 20 seconds left. C-Nacho will answer back by getting a double kill onto Quetzal, and Daddy West, as Epic picks up one of his own onto Mentality, putting it from a 4v4 down to a 2v4. It's now just up to Rocket and Blue Card, who are pushing the back side, as now C-Nacho will pick up a third for the round, and the next kill will fall, leaving a very strong and commanding lead in the favor of Penn State with a nearly flawless defense. As now it seems if we're having a little bit of Discord issues coming out. I think both teams are just dropped out of comms and only using game chat, so we might have a administrative rehost coming out shortly, or maybe just a team rope, or maybe just a regular rehost if only one team is impacted by this little outage here, as we're also going to go ahead and see the defensive side of Penn State switching over to Trophy Statue.
Attackers need to locate and defuse as many bombs as they can. Take some trauma plates.
And so, yeah, unfortunately, the King of Dopenshire has actually dropped out of the call, and these Discord outages is impacting us just a little bit, so I apologize for any sort of outages, and I guess you're just gonna have to listen to my voice continue until our boy Dopenshire is able to get back in. So now both of these teams are actually going to go ahead and continue to play, just utilize game chat on here, as these reinforcements are going to start popping out, and C-Nacho has picked the Rook once again, placing down some barbed wire over towards 90, where he most likely will be playing, trying to utilize those long hallways to sort of play into his playstyle as a gunner of long range engagements. As now we're going to see an Epic place a pretty epic cam of the Maestro variety, as Destroyer runs out and picks up Blue Card, and that's the Thermite off the board, and that's all the hard breaching ability of Rochester going down as one fell swoop. Destroyer gets really aggressive on a nice run out and will be rewarded greatly for his ordeals. So now we're going to see some drone work. We're going to see some drone work coming in on the backside as Pennsyl pushes up for a really backside heavy push. RIT's all stacked up towards Aviator Games area, and that's the site that we just saw defended. There's definitely going to be more of a horizontal roam clearing push as opposed to a default push over towards master bedroom, which would prove impossible because of Thermite being unfortunately spawn peaked. Rocket's going to be creeping up, as well as Daddy West droning himself towards 90, making sure there's not a rook hiding out on the other side of that bar wall. There's an air jab to watch the flank as Sinacho is dropped all the way downstairs into kitchen, probably trying to get some sort of floor angles, maybe with his impact grenades down below to destroy if they have a secondary hard breacher. But on the side of RIT, there is not one, as Daddy West pushes up quite aggressively towards Sandwich Zebra Couch area, as now the barbed wire will be destroyed, and Jaws is sitting really close on Statue, holding a nice crossfire with Destroyer. He does have the TCSG in hand, but equipped with a holographic sight, which will allow him to use these close quarter combat just that little bit extra. Pennsyl now picks up a kill onto C-Nacho, as Daddy West picks up one of his own in the form of Jaws, and that's the Kaid going down, leaving it all up to a 4v3 instance with just Vidge, Epic, and Destroyer on the board. There's going to be another magnet being tossed out as Destroyer is still hugging onto this bomb chassis, as well as Vidge holding down the other site. Epic will pick up a nice shot onto Daddy West, playing over towards as he's rotated into master bedroom, utilizing that position of that the attackers like to stack up in to his own defensive purposes, as now Vidge will down the Nomad, watching the flank, actually will not be able to fully pick up the kill, and Sophia does have the unique ability to pick herself up and withstand if she's in the down but not out state, but Destroyer will now pick up a kill onto Rocket, putting the favor into Penn State fully, as RIT of Pennsyl of RIT now picks up a Vidge. Now another frag for Destroyer comes out as he secures his triple kill for the round, leaving it all up to Pennsyl. So he does have the bomb in his hand, but there's about 13 seconds left and 2 defenders to take out, as he's now going to peek out and take out Destroyer, but Maestro and that actually was, that was Destroyer who went down, as it's a 1v1 instance. He's going to try to plant here, as now Epic has just bought himself some time, and the Maestro will be pushing forward, give him the 6-inch steel blade of his knife, and will take another round for Penn State.
Yeah, I hope this thing's on, but we also had Discord issues, so King has dropped out, so I'm gonna hop in. I'm the observer. My name's Carpe, so Dopin doesn't lose his voice. As soon as King comes back, I'll hop out and you'll have to hear me anymore, but yeah.
I hope you guys didn't mind my absolute rambling for an entire round, as I was trying to buy time for my boy Carpe to come in. But now we're seeing Blue Card flash the Monty pick and switch onto the Thermite, as his role as a hard breacher is not as necessary on the kitchen bomb site, but it still is useful if you want to break open that laundry wall. But in favor of that, they will just go ahead and take the metal or the ironclad Frenchman of Monty, who can definitely act as a steel curtain to protect your team and help you push forward as a mobile drone, spewing out all that intel to the rest of your team and sort of just bullying your way into sight.
Well, yeah, and I'll be interesting to see, and we'll see it here. Yeah, so they have only one set of extra soft breach in the form of breach charges on the Nomad. So the big two we want to watch out for early and see what happens is the Buck and the Nomad, because those are going to be your soft breach. Anywhere you don't see brick, so anywhere not there, and there is soft destructible. So most of the site can be opened up from above, which means there's a lot of verticality in here. And it's actually relatively abnormal for what you'll normally see in like ranked play and stuff. They're not reinforcing stuff upstairs. They're putting a pretty heavy reinforcing defense. So it seems like Penn State's just going to say, like, yeah, you can just have upstairs. It looks like they're going to put some bodies up here. But they're just like, I think they're just calling RIT's bluff and say, we're just going to play horizontal and let you have upstairs.
Well, actually, Nacho has rotated upstairs with Destroyer, and he's going to be placing down some castle barricades to try to slow down anybody, as well as using the super shorty shotgun as a secondary that he does seem to have snatched away from Mozzie. As now rotates all the way up towards 90. Cubby might be able to catch some of these attackers off guard if their drone work is not quite diligent enough. But they might not have to drone if you have a Monty just clearing the way behind you, acting as a living drone, as he does have diffuser as well.
Oh, Vidge getting super aggressive. Gonna find the first kill on the Mentality. Looks like Quetzal's gonna try to trade him out. Unable to find him. Blue Card's just getting super aggressive. So he is exactly like you said, playing this basically like a drone. We'll hop onto Destroyer here to see. He's holding this angle, watching for the cross. He doesn't find it. Rocket takes him out with a great headshot.
And that is a really good opening pick coming out as Destroyer does fall, and he is being on the Wamai is very similar to how a Legion acts, where he gets his utility over time as opposed to all at once at the start of the round. So by taking him out quickly and effectively, it is going to remove a whole lot of the magnets he would be able to throw to deny any sort of throwables, as now Quetzal is going to be going up above using his IQ scanner on the floor to take out any electronics that might be down below, as well as Daddy West using the Master Key shotgun to do a little bit of DIY renovation on the floor, opening up angles for him and his teammates to peek down below, as players like Epic and Jaws, Jaws will now fully fall down to those mentioned holes, as Epic is also going to be in quite a predicament.
Yeah, and I want to try to highlight some of the areas where they're gonna be looking for their entries. Besides vertical, there's no hatches open up in the site. Both of the hatches are both on the opposite sides, and as we can see here, there's a shield inside the laundry. So it looks like their main entry points are going to be these two doorways that are covered with barbs. So there's still quite a bit of work to do despite having full control of upstairs and a man advantage. Looks like Blue Card's positioning just in front of the shield, but if he wants to get in, there's no, oh, hit the wrong person. He's gonna have to vault it, so if anyone's watching, which it doesn't look like it is, so he kind of gets in for free. He spotted, he is gonna go for the plant, which is semi-abnormal. Oh, can't really see it. As typically you would have your Monty stand in front of the planter. Yeah, and he's just gonna get taken out by Vidge from a long angle. Luckily for them, though, they have a 3-man advantage, so Vidge has still quite a bit of work to do. If he can deny the plant, he picked out one, he's put it into a 1v1, so if he wins this, he doesn't. But if he did, he would have had a clean kill onto the planter, so that round was much closer than it looked like.
Yeah, Vidge had managed to find a stray headshot through that bookcase he was trying to wallbang through. It would have spelled the end of the round as the clock had hit the 000 mark. His Blue Card will be picking up that Monty once again because it did seem to work quite well. He did utilize those smokes to full effect and was almost able to get the plant down. I believe there was about 1 second, maybe less, before Vidge was able to pop his head cleanly, as Vidge does seem to have waken up just a little bit more, and we're seeing a bit more fragging potential coming out. Also, Destroyer still playing very well and keeping up the pace that he put onto the last map. So now we're going to see the Dokkaebi being brought from Daddy West, as well as the 6th pick onto the Ying from Mentality, possibly giving us a little bit of glimpse to the Ying meta we might see come out this season. If you didn't know, Ying received a massive buff to try to bring up her pick rate and win rate on those Delta sheets we see. She picked up an extra Candela, as well as smoke grenades, and her LMG damage got buffed just that little bit. When you throw all of those together, it definitely is a very scary thing to think about, as somebody could just throw in 4 Candelas, blind your entire team, smoke off, plant, and run away, sort of becoming a one-man wrecking team that can enter a site, plant the bomb, and put in a post-plant position for the rest of your team.
5 seconds remaining. Attackers are moving out to locate a bomb.
So now we're seeing Destroyer aggressively peeking on Study Door, trying to maybe find another spawn peek, as we saw him get a spawn peek on the first round, but unfortunately for him, there's nobody there, as RIT is opting to do another backside horizontal roam clear.
Sorry about that. I had muted my mic because I took a drink. So But what I was saying was, Pennsyl brought the perfect lineup to kind of counter this Ying, in the Jaeger and Womai, and also the push from RIT coming from the master side. If we take a look at the setup here, there's not a whole lot of soft walls to begin with. They've deigned and decided not to electrify / breach denial on the vault side, so it's potential that they could kind of push brute force away into this 90 corner. No C4, one C4, but not playing from below. On the side of the defense, and they could just kind of get a quick plan in. A lot of the utility is placed up on this balcony side, and that's pretty much useless at this point.
Yep, and we're seeing quite a little bit of a stalemate coming out as Sinacho is just gonna get blasted away by Mentality, utilizing that Candela to force the Rook to fall off of 90 and utilizing Blue Card as that mobile drone to feed him that information. Destroyer has also gone down, and Vidge is trying to flank, but he's going to go ahead and take 50 damage from the flank watch as Quetzal and Blue Card are pushing all the way into sight. Blue Card does have the diffuser in hand, and he sees the Maestro's back inside a vault, and it's going to give him a little bit of a scare as Epic's reloading his gun and does not know that the giant metal shield of Monty is down below. Now Jaws will blast away Mentality with a nitro cell, but the rest of these attackers are pushing their way into Astro as Blue Card's getting a little bit aggressive considering he has the diffuser in hand.
Yeah, and one thing I would like to see here that kind of deigned and left them into a bad position. We are seeing it. Blue Card's giving up the diffuser to someone else, but in this case, they're just going to brute force, push around, and just clean up the kills. Yeah, perfect counterplay on little Monty. I think if Blue Card had dropped a diffuser and they went for that play probably about like 10 seconds ago when they had the opportunity to, it probably could have resulted in a win for the offense.
Yeah, usually you don't want your Monty to have the diffuser, as he is just a great operator at soaking up damage and really blocking off any sort of either lines of sights or entrances into the sites, as he was sitting inside of a maps area of aviation for about 35 seconds, 40 seconds around him, would you say?
Yeah, I think it took him a little bit longer to kind of aggress onto site, and the lack of a hard breach, who in this case would have been Blue Card, the lack of a hard breach has meant, good adaptation, bringing out the Legion, but the lack of a hard breach meant they couldn't open up the vault angle, meaning the offense was kind of funneling themselves indirectly. We are seeing, I would have loved the continued 6-pick onto the Habana, if only just to open the angle. Like, you don't even have to like make it walkable, but we can look on it. But even holding this angle into a vault means you're kind of funneling the defense then. But they left it closed. They couldn't get through it, and it just meant that the attackers inconsequentially ended up funneling themselves. So we're seeing sort of the same thing. Ooh.
It's a nice Valk camera coming out from C Nacho, throwing that underneath the bed, trying to hide it away. But if Quetzal on the IQ has anything to say about it with his scanner, he most likely will be trying to shoot that away. As we're also seeing some really great Cade Claws coming out from Jaws. Actually,
that
is
one on the
just
right
that little bit too far away, so it couldn't reach the wall, leaving one of these electrified walls to be non-electrified, and will just be able to be breached. However, there isn't any breaching potential on the side of RIT, so that mistake will not be fully punished, as they are just gonna go for that backside horizontal push once again with that Monty.
Yeah. And again, we'll see what Blue Card does, because currently Blue Card does have the diffuser, which, if he's been playing like he is, if he somehow gets picked, like if he gets a leash in his foot, backs up, and then gets flanked, he could potentially lose the diffuser in a precarious situation. We have two of the defense on this side of the map already. We'll see. Oh no. Oh, Quetzal with a great kill, catching Valk on her cams and just plinking her through the door. Oh, and they're immediately rotating over to go for a master take. They've kind of recognized, hey guys, we're getting a lot of pressure through here. Let's rotate over. Let's push from the bathroom master side while there's still people off site and we got a kill. And yeah, they're catching Destroyer running back. Blue Card's getting in super aggressive, so we're going to hop on here with Jaws. And I don't think Blue Card has handed the diffuser off yet. No, he hasn't. If he had, he could just stand. Oh, he's about to drop it right. Oh, it looked like he was about to drop it because you can actually plant in that doorway. That doorway is a part of site. I don't know if they don't know it or if they're just choosing not to, but that would have been a very clean plant. Imagine getting a plant down in this 5v4. Instead, he's taking the diffuser with him inside of Astro. Getting kind of pressured from the Maestro and the Legion here. Let's see what the... And his team's right behind him. Mentality's the only one that's kind of holding on this backside right now. I would have liked to have seen... Oh, great shot coming out of Mentality. I think I would have liked to have seen them plant just in the doorway, having Monty as a backup. Epic's gonna go for the kill. He's actually gonna find down and now kill Ash. He keeps pushing on, getting a little bit greedy. He's gonna lose his life for it, and Rocket's gonna find Epic on the backside, leaving just Vidge in a 1v4.
Yep, and he will take out the first one, is going to get knocked down by the air jab and will be finished accordingly as Nomad uses that rotate hold to her own advantage and finishes off the round for RIT, taking another attack on Villa. And we are rejoined back by our other caster, being the King of Dopenshire. Welcome back.
Yeah, thank you. You know, couldn't load Discord at all. Lucked online, saw most of the Northeast was out. So unfortunately I am back. Looks like we are gonna have another technical difficulty here as we're gonna have a rehost from RIT. Unfortunately, it's going to be a rehost from them. I was watching the game on the side, and this is a very close one. We have, as you can see on the scoreboard, 3v2. It looks like we're going for 2 trophy statuary for PSU.
Yes, we're going to be rehosting here. So nothing is locked because of when it was called. It was called very early, even before the pick phase was over. So we will be coming out back in about 5 minutes, maybe. Maybe that's a little bit over. It's just going to just have to be whenever we get the lobby back in. So we're going to go ahead and send you guys to intermission as we sort of get all of our ducks back in a line, cross our T's and dot our I's, and get back into the action.
Coming just like the sunrise, you know that we're gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up, babe. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna light it up. Just like a spark that's breaking out. Can't make a stop, can't turn back now. We know that there's no room for doubt. No, we can't turn back now. I see danger in your eyes. They know we'll burn down the night. Coming just like the sunrise. You know that we're gonna light it up. Tonight, we're gonna light it up, babe. Tonight, we're gonna light it up. Just like the sunrise, we're gonna light it up.
Welcome back, everybody, from our short rehost period. Thank you for staying with us. We have RIT's map of Villa. It is currently round 6. Penn State is defending, and they are currently up 3-2. This is the last defensive round of the half, and we will most likely be going to Trophy Statuary Room. And if PSU wins this, they are going to take a 4-2 lead into the half, which is what you about expect a defensive team to do on a map that is slightly defender-sided.
Yeah, I actually do have to say that with the couple of matches that I've seen on Villa, I have seen a lot more 3-3s going on, as a lot of teams have, because Villa is such an old map. People are definitely figuring out how to attack it, and the evolving meta is sort of in one of those lulls right now where defenders haven't quite been able to keep up with some of the aggression that the attackers can go through due to their familiarity on the map, their knowledge of pre-fire angles, and exactly how the defenders have to sit in certain tower positions. But if you are Penn State, you definitely want to take this defensive half in a 4-2 manner, and especially when it is your opponent's map that has picked it as this is RIT's pick. Going up 4-2 will sort of give you a really good feeling as you're pushing into your attacking rounds.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when Villa was added to CEA, so you called it an old map, makes me feel a little bit old here, but I mean, you are right. A lot of the maps that were older than Villa, such as Clubhouse and Oregon, got either reworked or removed from the map pool, and then really the only map that is left that's that old, I'd argue to say, is probably just Bank, and Bank is making its way out soon too, so we're getting a lot of Consulate too. Consulate is old as well. That has not been touched. That'll stay in there for a bit. Clubhouse is also very old, but to get reworked. For a little bit of that. On the meantime, in Villa, we have Rocket and Daddy West droning in and really starting off very, very aggressively. They're gonna have blue card here, using that Monty shield kind of as a little bit of a very large drone per se. It's going to look down classical hallway towards 90, and they're not going to see anyone. They have the whole half of the floor to themselves. The only thing they have to worry about is flanks from Vidge, who's currently roaming around the living room entrance on that first floor.
Yep, so we're seeing the smoke being brought for the first time by Destroyer, and that's most likely going to be a reactionary pick towards blue card's Monty play that we've seen him pick up the last couple of rounds, and allowing Rochester to get a little bit of momentum and win a couple of rounds on the back of this operator pick, as he's going to be pushed up all the way to couches and start breaking down that doorway and allow some access to site, as well as put some pressure on Jaws, who's playing close on that trophy. But now Vidge is rotating and trying to be really sneaky here as C-Nacho tries to nitro cell from below, misses his lineup, but will just blast around the wood from beneath it and drop it right back into his pocket, as blue card is going to be in a little bit of stalemate from Jaws, who's sitting in this corner once again with that punishing TCSG shotgun, as some more drone work is going to go out, as the flanks from C-Nacho and Vidge might spell some doom for this RIT attack.
Yeah, Jaws showing, even though the TCSG did receive a nerf, is going to get a kill on a blue card, with Quetzal responding, picking up Vidge. That is the Jaeger and the Monty down on each team. Still very close. A minute left in the round. Daddy West is going to pick up C-Nacho. All of a sudden, that Mozzie is down too, and you have just a few strong defenders on site. Mentality has a nice angle onto Jaws. It could potentially get this kill here. It's going to whip out the pistol, but Jaws is actually going to take down Mentality, but is going to get refragged fairly quickly by Rocket.
Yeah, it did seem as if the Zofia expected a prone Kaid in that corner, but he was just aiming at feet, and that's not going to do enough damage to justify the TCSG blasting back at you, as Rocket swings on in again and gets two more, as Epic and Destroyer fall to the AK-74, and RIT will tie up the half and lead into the half switch at a score of 3-3.
Yeah, you talked about the 3-3 right after the rehost there. That's going to be what, as you said, we're going to see here. We're going to go to Aviator Games Room for RIT's first defense, and I'm expecting here to see probably a 6 pick off of that clash, though you never know. Blue card might want to stay on that operator and just get a little bit of a switch up by playing an operator we almost never see in CEA streams.
Yeah, Clash is just going to be another shield operator that blue card is showing he's very comfortable in taking. If you look at that score line, that isn't fully accurate to the amount of frags that these players have gotten, because that was just from one round after the rehost. Unfortunately, there is not a way to adjust any sort of kills that we got in that instance, so they're most likely for our stats team is going to have to be a screenshot of pre-rehost and post-rehost and a little bit of extra math work for our wonderful stats people behind the scenes, as we're seeing RIT take their place on the Aviator Games bomb site.
Yeah, as you said, blue card is going to 6-pick off of that clash onto the Goyo. And Goyo, although losing one of his shields in the most recent patch this past week, is still a very strong operator. He can definitely block off two very important passageways that PSU is going to be looking to go through. We see there blue card and team are going to reinforce the walls going into study, trying to lock that down. And it looks like Quetzal and Daddy West are actually going to try to hold off a little bit of master bedroom and trophy stat side of second floor.
Yeah, it's going to be a whole horizontal roam here as opposed to a vertical roam that we see on a lot of maps. Bill is really interesting in its floor plan, as it's a very, very wide map with only two sort of main floors, as opposed to a lot of maps on Siege are sort of a little bit smaller, but they have more layers, sort of like in a square setup where they just kind of go up like a normal building. Villa is a very wide, and that basement is rarely ever utilized when we're playing the game mode of Bomb, which you see most competitive play. It's sort of only used as a pathway for roamers to sneakily go around the map.
We did see Nacho try to peek at that window, but blue card was enough a deterrent for them to drop and go into that main hallway. Mentality is kind of chilling there, but Nacho is going to use that rotation and get a nade kill, taking out one of the players right off the bat.
Yeah, that's a great frag grenade from below. That's not the easiest timing to get down, but once you get it, you can get some freebie kills, such as we see the sledge down below getting onto Mentality's Wamai. And like I said earlier, that's a whole lot of utility going down because of the magnets roll in over time. There's not going to be as many ways to counter other projectiles that we see. As blue card's going to go ahead and rotate over, try to impact trick away that thermite charge, but it will fail as his angle was not quite lined up, and now Jaws will get a pick onto Rocket, leaving it at a 5v3 instance with some players like Quetzal and Daddy West off site.
Blue card is going to drop hatch and going to be forced to rotate around as Vidge is going to take down Daddy West. And it looks like Quetzal could get a 2-kill, but only gets away with one on Jaws before Destroyer gets the refrag. Epic is planning the diffuser with 3 seconds left on that diffuse time. It looks like that is going to stick, as poor blue card is currently stuck on red stairs with someone at 90 currently looking right in his direction.
Is going to have a lot of work to do with him, as he does have barely any health, and that health is now gone as Destroyer picks up a round for Penn State and sending a message that Penn State does know how to attack this Villa map, and they're put into a really good position at 4-3 as this first half was tied up.
Yeah, it's definitely a great start on an attacking half to win the first round. We're going to go actually down to Dining Room Kitchen, and that's going to be a tertiary site that a lot of teams pick after they win Aviator Games, Trophy Statuary, and then be forced down to Dining Room Kitchen. But RIT is going to opt to pick that a little bit earlier than other teams might. And this is a little bit of a bait and switch that we saw PSU do with Teller's Archives on the previous map. They hovered the castle, and that says, hey, we're going second floor. But switching to the Pulse with the 6-pick pretty much hides the fact that they're going to be on first floor. So this could be really advantageous to them. However, unlike what happened on the last round of Bank, they have Nacho, Vidge, and Destroyer on the side of PSU with Hard Breach that could really rain down tear onto this RIT defense.
Yeah, all those soft breaching operators being picked will allow a whole lot of destruction to go below, but Daddy West might be able to pick up a freebie nitro kill from downstairs, using that cardiac sensor to find those heartbeats and just lob a little brick of explosion up at the floor. And we're also seeing a Mute Mozzie combination coming out with Quetzal and Rocket, using a whole lot of drone denial utility to really slow down Penn State's attack pushing forward.
Bomb located by attackers.
Yeah, that soft barricade unfortunately broke one of Rocket's jammers. That's going to be one down for Penn State already. They're only going to take out a couple more than in order to get out all that utility. Sorry, but they have to watch out for a lot of RIT's presence because not only do they have mentality there, but that pulse is very strong in terms of using that cardiac sensor to get a C4 from below.
Yeah, if you remember all the way back to the beginning of this matchup, we saw the operator, where we saw all of the lineups in their preferred operators. On Daddy West's profile, his favorite defender is Pulse. So seeing him on this operator once again shows he's very comfortable, as Destroyer will now get downed by a nitro cell. Actually, maybe even the shotgun of a Rocket, blasting away at some really nice angles with that M590.
Yeah, it's going to be very nice, but unfortunately for RIT, Vidge is going to take down Mentality. The Jaeger is off the board. Vidge has control of some of Astronomy, but Quetzal is close by and could get a nice flank. However, he's going to opt to go back onto Kitchen and just hold site for a little bit. RIT seems to be pushed back onto site, but they still have Daddy West with the C4 is going to connect two of them. Destroyer and Jaws are down for the count.
Yeah, I predicted one nitro cell kill, but getting a double is just a whole lot of pleasure coming out of Daddy West's side as he gets 2 free kills from down below. But the rest of these attackers are still upstairs as there is another nitro cell from coming out from the Goyo, as he's going to go ahead and pre-place it and wait for Daddy West's call on when to explode it, still using that cardiac sensor to possibly get another kill. Daddy West has taken a whole lot of damage. He's only about 20 HP. Here's Blue Card now gets C Nacho on that pre-lined up nitro that I just talked about.
RIT hasn't even used guns yet. They've just got 3 kills from those nitro cells alone. It's all up to Vidge and Epic to clutch out this round for their team, putting them at a 5-3 lead. Vidge is droning in from Laundry, seeing the reinforced wall and seeing that all of RIT is stacked on or near site, as Epic is going to push up, use some frags, and blow into the site. However, Epic is going to spot out the attackers with his cardiac sensor, and the wall is going to be open, and the final push is going to start.
Yeah, 10 seconds left on the board, and the diffuser is in hand, but it's a 4v2 instance, as now the first peek's going to come out, and Quetzal rips off the head of Epic. He's going to whip out his pistol and try to take out Vidge, but Vidge will shut that down quite quickly as he just secures his double kill, whips out his pistol, and does get downed as the clock hits triple zeros, and Rochester takes their first round on defense.
And if this match hasn't been back and forth, we're now at a 4-4 with RIT on defense. There's a very real possibility we could see this go into 6-6, and we could see our first overtime of the night here and potentially go to our decider map of Border. However, before we have that, we're going to go to Trophy Statuary, second floor on round 9 of the game. Mentality is going to pick up the Wamai, and Daddy West is going to lock in that Pulse. Maestro is going to be picked up by Rocket. We're going to have a lot of strong operators coming out from both sides here. A lot of fragging power, and we're going to see Daddy West 6-pick actually back onto that castle.
Yeah, they're going to try to pick up where they failed last time and be able to successfully defend this second floor bomb site for the first time in this half, as they have actually switched over to Trophy Statuary bomb site. And if you're seeing Rocket defend, or he's reinforcing that wall from the sort of outside of what you would expect. He's doing it from the master side, and that's going to allow a little bit of extra, sort of a better angle for impact tricking. If you saw what happened on Bank, if you were watching, they reinforced the walls on CEO from the inside of site, and that allowed the soft breach of Vidge to sort of break open that extra wood that you have on the other side of the barricade, and you created a nice little cubby of protection for the thermite charge to get shoved on into, and it did protect it from the impact trick. And that's where RIT is going to be switching up and making a nice adjustment to ensure that their strategy and other strats are going to be successful this time around.
Yeah, and since they don't have a bandit or a mirror, there's not much saying, hey, we should put these on the inside of site, because they don't need to put a black mirror or a shock wire against it. They don't even have Electroclaws to put there. So as you said, that's going to be a great job. It's stopping that soft breach anti-impact trick, I guess you could say, from Penn State. With that, we're going to get right into the round, just over half a minute inside of the action phase. We already have drones coming out from Penn State as usual. Jaws and Destroyer making their way through bathroom with some help from Epic and Vidge droning out the first floor and the basement just to make sure that no one from RIT is waiting there to surprise them. But Pennsyl, however, is sitting in art study and is going to be making their way down that red hallway pretty soon, I would say.
Yeah, they're going to definitely be droning down below to make sure that they don't have a repeat of what happened last time with the absolute onslaught of nitro cells coming from down below. As also Destroyer is going to be in a strong position to start blasting away at that floor, cutting rotations, and getting off any utility that they do want removed as they make towards their execute. We're seeing Epic and Vidge take their control over towards Master and seeing that it is all castled off as they are going to have some good control in on that choke point area.
Destroyer's breaking the floor between him and the defenders. However, it looks like some of the defenders are on him and are starting to rotate down. We see someone on red stairs there. Daddy West on the castle is just holding a long angle. Looks like Epic is going to be flashing out, trying to prevent that impact trick, and is going to go for the exothermic charge. It looks like it might get off, but no, the impact trick is going to come out. But however, Pennsyl is also going to take out C Nacho. All of a sudden, RIT has swung this match, a little bit towards their favor on this round.
Yeah, that's a masterful use of utility, making sure that both of your impact grenades are utilized perfectly to take out two of those exothermic charges. Now Jaws gets a pick with a Claymore's Epic gets a pick onto Mentality with the gun as Pennsyl responds back by taking out Destroyer, leaving it as the smoke fades to a 2v3 instance. There are still the smoke playing close with this SMG-11 shotgun combination. Only 25 seconds left for these attackers to push in the site and try to get that bomb down. Jaws is going to try to reconcile and get a nice pinch coming in from 90, as well as the rest of the push coming out of Astro as he's coming up behind this attacker. Or defender right here is Blue Card will take his head clean off with the SMG-11, as Rochester will now take the round as Blue Card gets another shot with that SMG-11 all the way across the site and will take another round for RIT.
And with that, just a little bit of momentum is going to be built for RIT, as that's the second round win they have in a row. However, if you've been keeping up with this entire matchup tonight, you know that this is most likely going to keep going back and forth. We're going to see it all night until one team reigns victorious. This is a very close matchup, as it should be in the semifinals of Invite League playoffs. Whoever wins this advances to the finals against either University of Akron or Carnegie Mellon. And this is going to be a great game to finish out watching, as we're going to go back to Aviator Games Room, and we have a lot of strong utility denial from RIT.
Yeah, if you don't know how our Invite League works, there's about 144 teams in Open, and the rest of the teams that mark up the 160 that we have under CEA are in the Premier Invite division. So out of those 160 teams, 16 are in Invite, and right now you are seeing two of the top 4 teams here. That's top 4 out of 160, with the 3 and 2 seed of RIT and Penn State duking it out. So that's why we're seeing such a back and forth battle, as both these teams are both really good and very evenly matched in their own facets.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of fragging potential from both sides. The support players on both teams are absolutely fantastic, and how they use their utility quickly, efficiently, and intelligently, and helping their top fraggers, their entry fraggers, and just their teammates in general get those plants down, get those walls open, and take out those roamers. Speaking of roamers, we're going to see Daddy West actually reinforcing some of the wall into Master Bedroom from Trophy Statuary's side, and that's going to be pretty interesting, because it seems like PSU isn't pushing from there quite yet, but that could be an advantageous position if they have to switch late game. That also gives Pennsyl a little bit of a ground to hold, as he's going to be up in that area roaming around.
Yeah, his roam isn't very kill heavy, as we've seen. Actually, he is leading the kills after the rehost with a 5 on the board. However, I think the biggest thing about his roam is how much time it's been killing, and that has led to Rochester's sort of dominance on defense thus far after this rehost. They've been able to really stay alive and really be an absolute thorn in the side of these Penn State attackers that have to constantly think about these players such as Pennsyl and I believe Mentality has also been roaming a little bit. And all these players are just got the possibility of getting a flank off, and that's putting fear into the back of the attackers, where they have to worry about so many angles going forward. As you're going into sight, you know that there's anchors, as well as having to know that there's somebody could be sneaking up behind you is making it very difficult to try to push towards sight.
Jaws is going to take out Rocket, and Sinacho's going to go for that frag again. However, it looks like the defender fell back, so not going to pick that one up this time. His mentality is going to be just a little bit more careful. Is going to peek up, but is going to be taken down by Vidge. And Daddy West is going to respond by taking down Jaws. All of a sudden, 3v4 situation for RIT. Still holding very strong as Pennsyl is going to be coming in on the rotate from behind. Daddy West is still off site too, so they're going to have to do a little bit of falling back and retreating. The C4 will go out from blue card, but Daddy West is going to get a kill onto Sinacho.
Yeah, and that's another SMG 11 kill that we've seen so many fly onto the side of RIT, as they all seem quite comfortable with the very punishing close quarters weapon. But now it's an even matchup, but Daddy West will now fall at the hands of Destroyer down below on the buck, leaving it all up to Pennsyl in blue card. Pennsyl is sitting inside a vault as the rest of the attackers have pushed into bar and are attempting to get this diffuser down. But now the Goyo will be droned out, and Vidge will take him down, securing his double kill for the round, leaving it all up to Pennsyl in a 1v3. The diffuser is going to start getting planted. There's about 3 seconds left till it's a post plant, but Pennsyl has snuck up behind Vidge, and he will be really close onto the thermite and will take him out as well, leaving it to a 1v1 in a battle of wits between Destroyer and Pennsyl. The round is on the line, and the Jaeger's just sort of going around, and he doesn't get the drone pings out, knows where Destroyer is, and will get the 3v1 clutch for RIT.
Yeah, a little bit of risky play there going for the kill. Never know if there's a Claymore or not. But with that, Pennsyl is going to secure RIT round number 6, putting them in the danger zone. They can no longer lose the normal time of this map. They're guaranteed to go at the very least into overtime. If RIT wins one of the next 2 rounds, they win the map and we go to map 3. If Penn State wins the next 2 rounds without losing one attack of those 2, then we go into overtime and we'll see who the victor is of this map. 2 rounds left to play, match point for RIT. Let's see how Dining Kitchen is going to play out this time. RIT won it the last time.
Yeah, we're not seeing the pulse being brought. However, I am going to predict that Daddy West is going to flash that castle and then use that 6-pick feature to bring out the fellow FBI agent once again. And they're going to be trying to get a bunch more nitro kills, as we're seeing C-Nacho picks up the glass, maybe going to be trying to utilize the smoke grenades in conjunction with his gadget, which is a thermal scope on his sniper that allows him to see through smoke. One of the few operators that can do it. The only other one being Warden, who usually is not picked, as he's not the strongest operator. He's a little bit too situational for high-level competitive play. But now the rest of the lineup is going to be comprised of a Goyo with a nitrocell, a Mozzie with a nitrocell, a Mute with a nitrocell, and a Jaeger holding onto some barbed wire. So if you can count that out, that's 4 nitros that RIT is going to be trying to throw at the floor and try to kill all these Penn State attackers that want to go upstairs.
Yeah, I mean, with only having to win one of the next 2 rounds, RT is a little bit of a safety net in the fact that they can't be beat out before overtime, but you still want to win as quickly as possible, take that round differential as high as you can, and get to the decider map ASAP. What they're going to try to do here, and as you said, that 4 nitro cell combo is going to be pretty deadly. We saw it the last time we went kitchen on round 8, just 3 rounds ago, that Daddy West did a very, very good job at alerting the team members of RT, hey, there's someone here, we should throw a C4. In fact, 3 of their kills came just from C4s alone in the first half of the round, and that's a pretty hard statistic to counter for Penn State. Really, the only thing you could do is take out Daddy West as early as possible.
Yeah, I think we're actually going to see a little bit of adjustment coming out from Penn State, as they seem to just want to fly straight into sight on a more horizontal level as opposed to that vertical play, and that's going to minimize the impact that the nitro cells could have, as there's a whole lot of drone work coming out, as well as a whole lot of smokes on the table with both Glaz and Capitao having the ability to put up those gray clouds to help obscure the vision of the defenders. However, Blue Card has gone ahead and ripped his Nitro Cell in preparation for possibly Vidge jumping into Art Storage Cubby Locker.
Yeah, that could be a great opening pick, especially taking down that Zofia. Vidge is playing around, not in quite yet, but Epic is actually going to be taken down by Pennsyl. That's a very interesting angle. Actually, coming from above on top of the dresser. Vidge did take out Blue Card in the meantime, though. That is one of the 4 C4s down. Daddy West with a little bit of damage. Nacho's actually going to go into the basement. Pennsyl getting a double kill. Picking up Jaws is doing really good at holding that master bedroom angle.
Yeah, and that's typically why you want to do a vertical pressure, because that angle on the top hatch is so powerful. We're seeing Daddy West fall at the hands of Vidge as he secures his double kill, and the rest of these attackers are pushing in and trying to constrict the rest of the roamers that are on site. Some smokes are going to go down, as well as some droning, but Vidge will fall at the hands of Rocket's shotgun, leaving the hopes of this map on the back of Nacho and Destroyer. With Pennsyl still upstairs with a Nitro Cell in his pocket, Jaeger with a heck of a gun, and anybody close range trying to challenge Rocket is going to fall into a very difficult position as he's going to drop a drone with his long-range shotgun shots as the smoke grenade is trying to protect this glass with his scope out, but Destroyer's now peeking out of the kitchen locker, but he will fall down to the ground at the hands of Mentality as Rocket will clean up the kills, peeking out this glass with the SMG-11, but Mentality will swing out, take out Nacho, and take the round and the map for RIT.
And with that, as you said, RIT wins the map, but we're going to border. We're going to go to map 3, our decider map, where we're going to do a little bit of a coin flip and some very advanced calculus and mathematics to decide who will attack or defend first. Technically, they're the same decision if you really think about it. But we'll get that very soon. Already, Quetzal popping off since that rehost with 10 kills. Fortunately, we don't get to see the combined scoreboard of the entire match. But if you watched it, you know that was a very good, very exciting match. Bank went to PSU 7-5. Villa went to RIT 7-4. Border is going to be very close, and it's going to be very, very exciting. I am excited.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and take a 5-minute break to get all of this stuff, having everybody's sides being chosen with sort of round differentials and all this other stuff. So we're going to go and take a 5-minute break, get everything sorted out, and we will be back to you on Border.
I don't know what you want. Let's have
Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll finding life along the way, melodies we haven't played. No, I don't want no rest. Echoing around these walls, fighting to create a song. I don't wanna miss a beat. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, and on we'll
Welcome back, everybody. We're going into Border, our third and final map of the night. While we get into bands, as you can see on your screen, we're going into a little bit of our sponsors. We have what'snew.gg. They have great apparel and some of our stuff. If you go on there and check them out, give them some love. We also have CORSAIR. They have great PC gaming parts and accessories. They also did some of our giveaways this season in spring 2020. So also show them some love. And finally, we have Rogue Energy, code CEA at checkout for a little bit of a discount. First band coming out from PSU, who will be starting on Attack on Border, is Thatcher. Never going to get played tonight at all. Poor Thatcher.
Yep. And joining him is Jackal, who has also been banned. Both of these times, both of these attackers will not see the light of day on any of these maps in this best of 3 series between Rochester Institute of Technology and Penn State University. So we're seeing the first defender ban coming out from Penn State, as they will be actually deliberating a little bit, not at quite a unanimous decision here, as they will now lock it in. And the defender going off the board will be Mira. He definitely caused some trouble for them, or actually caused some trouble for RIT on the first side, as now Rochester will take away that last defender quite quickly and will drop Maestro off the board once again.
I mean, for PSU, although they did like to play her on the first map, playing against Mira on Armory Lockers can be an absolute nightmare, especially on Ventilation Workshop as well. There's just so many good sites where she's just an absolute powerhouse and changes the entire dynamic of how you push those sites, that if you just get her out of the way, it's a little bit easier. You'd rather have to deal with Echo or Kite or Bandit instead of having to deal with those mirror windows, and that's what they're going to do. We're going to have Echo on the board as well as Kite, played by Rocket and Blue Card respectively. Also Castle, Mute, Jaeger coming out. Monty is going to be picked up by Epic, and then we have IQ, Maverick, Zofia, and Buck. They're going to be attacking Armory Lockers Archives, and this is for all the marbles here. Whoever wins this map wins the series and goes on to the finals against either Carnegie Mellon University or University of Akron.
Yeah, seeing the Maverick being the sole hard breacher on the side of Penn State is definitely going to be interesting, as they're going to be forced to do that Maverick trick where you go ahead and you take your blowing torch, you make 2 parallel lines at the top and the bottom of the reinforcement, and if you get your full line completed, it will just drop away that metal off of the wall, and it will turn into a soft wall that you can breach with somebody like Buck or Zofia. and that's definitely going to be in the favor of Penn State if they're able to pull off this sort of tricky mechanic, as they actually did go ahead and switch from the Monty onto the Dokkaebi, who's going to be a really nice roam denying operator. As soon as her logic bombs go off, it's going to start ringing the phone of any defenders not in the radius of a mute jammer, and will alert the attackers to the location of any of those roamers via audio cues.
Yeah, in order for them to really get any ground on that Maverick trick, on that wall outside of Armory Lockers facing CCTV, they're going to have to get control of CCTV, because that takes a lot of time to pull off that Maverick trick if you do it correctly. And even then, you really need to watch out, because anyone who's in that CCTV area can get a quick peek out that door and get a frag. We're going to see Quetzal actually drop down here onto server room, going to hold an angle onto the entrance, and actually just got missed droning out, so could get an opening pick here fairly soon as C Nacho starts opening up this wall.
Yep, and he goes ahead and makes a little reference point at the end of the reinforcement, as he now gets the sound cue that he has fully finished off the top of that wall. He's actually going to drop a little flank drone right on the other side of the wall to make sure nobody gets any funny ideas, and runs out of this site waiting for him here. But Quetzal will now use that mist drone to his advantage and will drop Destroyer, and that's the buck off the board. That's a whole lot of soft breach utility that wanted to go below and get out these attackers or defenders playing the very sort of typical places. Here is now that sort of ending hole does spell a little bit of damage for C Nacho, as he loses about half his health from the Echo, holding a prone angle from the near half wall area, trying to stop the Maverick tricking.
Minute and a half is down for PSU as they're slowly opening up that wall, and as I say that, it is now open. All Vidge has to do is impact that with the lifeline, and it is open. They now have access to Armory Lockers, and that's going to be very nice for them. The Dokkaebi call is going to go out as Rocket and Quetzal and friends are going to really try to hold down this site as drones are coming in, and it looks like PSU is really stacking that side. They're definitely doing a push from this outer wall.
Yep, and we're going to have Vidge going over towards the ventilation windows, trying to cut any rotations from anybody stuck in archive, trying to stop the push in, and actually take out Rocket, who's sitting inside of small office. That's the Echo gone, and that's a gigantic pick, as Echo is a very powerful operator to stop late pushes with his yokai drones. And now C Nacho's down below trying to use his nitros or his frag grenades, but Daddy West will be using a nitro cell to take out Vidge, as the flank from Daddy West nets another kill as he's on a double for this round, leaving it all up to Jaws and Epic.
And Daddy West tearing it up with the SMG-11 as Jaws tears up Quetzal. All of a sudden, 2v3 for Penn State. They have a chance here as Daddy West is coming from below. Blue card takes out Epic. It's just up to Jaws to get this first round for the team. Is forced to defuse with 1 second left. Is not going to be able to get it down in time. And Rochester is going to win the first round of map 3.
Yeah, he does opt to just go ahead and save the KD, and knows he's not in a winnable situation as that clock hits triple zeros. He hears all the footsteps around him. He hears the shotguns blast down below, and he knew he wasn't going to win, so he just hopped off the diffuser, and we'll make his numbers look just that little bit better. However, that does mean the first round goes to RIT as they take a 1-0 lead and will be now defending Ventilation Room and Workshop.
Yeah, I mean, 1v3, having to plant the diffuser with 3 seconds left is something you're never, ever going to win. You know, so no shame. And saving a little bit there, but as you did say, RIT is going to get that W for the scoreboard. Currently sitting at 0-1. Not too much of a lead yet, you know, only first round. But we are going to see Daddy West pull out that pulse that he so dearly loves. And that could be a pretty big factor, using that C4 to take out either C Nacho, Sophia, or Destroyer, whoever opts to go upstairs into Armory Lockers and try to get some vertical plays going.
Yeah, vertical play reigns supreme on this map site, as with a lot of map bomb sites that lie directly below another strong bomb site, RIT is going to have to defend this site in a very similar fashion to how they defended upstairs. They're going to have to definitely dedicate some roam presence and some people and utility up towards that but probably the CCTV area, as well as armory and archives, maybe spread a little bit into fountain, as these players are going to most likely play to their deaths, trying to waste as much time, attack utility, and maybe even attacker lives, trying to gain that vertical control.
Yeah, that vertical control is one of the most important things in taking out this site as an attacker. We see a lot of teams here do what RT is doing and use Mute or Bandit or Kide and reinforce Armory Wall onto that western balcony near CCTV, because that's just so important in keeping this control. As you said, if they can keep control of that, they can pretty much lock out PSU of using any verticality at all that would help them take the site. RIT is putting a lot of utility upstairs though, and if that were to fall early, PSU might be in for a very quick round.
Yep, and Jaws has already made his way inside of CCTV. He'll be using his IQ scanner to maybe see if there's anybody flanking beneath, or seeing what kind of utility does lay ahead, as well as placing a claymore down to watch his back inside of CCTV, as the rest of his team pushes in and tries to take armory lockers. But Vidge has now rotated over to that armory window once again, and Blue Card and him are at a little bit of a stalemate, as he's opting to just play a little bit passive, not want to peek, and maybe wait for Vidge to have to jump inside the window. Vidge is probably going to be playing a little bit more passive, trying to open up some angles in towards the small office once again, and cut the rotation and really isolate out Blue Card. However, Jaws will take the first pick onto Pennsyl as a Nitrocell flies out to the back window, as the Buck has now opened up a lot of lines of sights, making it very difficult for this Mute to play here. However, he will take a little bit of damage. He's down all the way to 20 HP, as well as Vidge being dropped down by that Nitrocell to about 5. A lot of utilities being dumped over that computer rack, as Mentality picks up, actually no, that's Blue Card, picks up a kill onto Destroyer, as the rest of these attackers are now flying right into his crosshairs. He picks up the double kill here, and Blue Card will pick up another kill of his own, leaving it all up to C-Notchers, who's at the bottom of metal stairs without the diffuser.
Yeah, this is going to be hard for C-Nacho, especially as they are now dead. Rocket picking up the last kill of the round for RIT. That utility really favored RIT's play there. They made Vidge withstand pretty early in the round, barely even at the 2-minute mark when Vidge was down outside. And that's going to spell round 2 going to RIT, because that utility played a huge part to holding that second floor. And since PSU couldn't crack second floor, they couldn't even think about going for ventilation workshop on first floor. Speaking of first floor, we're going to go down to bathroom tellers, and this is definitely going to be an interesting site.
Yeah, it's not a site that you see very often, as a lot of teams do typically drop around between the ventilation workshops and the armory bomb sites. However, as RIT has won both of those on their first try, they will be going over towards bathroom tellers. It's definitely not the most traditionally good site that you will see, but they will be trying to bring in this clash to really throw a wrench in a little bit of a surprise curveball as Penn State tries to push towards the site. It's going to be an interesting sight to see how they utilize this clash. It's sort of the opposite of Monty. She's a full shield operator on defense and is equipped with an electric shield that can shock and slow down any attackers that are trying to push over towards her. And she does get used as a really interesting bit of utility that allows her to sort of solo hold a room, as well as act like a drone for the defense in a similar fashion to how Monty operates.
Yeah, I personally like Clash a lot, just because I think she rewards team synergy sometimes, and really nice 360 turtle spins that look cool to watch on a highlight reel. But besides that, that's going to really try to slow down some of the push coming out from Penn State. But it seems like they're not even playing on site. Most of them are actually second floor, with the exception of Rocket, who is currently sitting in bathroom. It seems that RIT has just decided to go into Arbory and just kind of stall there as long as they can.
Yeah, both of these bomb sites of A and B have complete vertical destruction above them, and when you're going to play a very high intensity roam game upstairs, you're going to be opening up really long lines of sight, as well as nice little shotgun holds down below that block off any entrance to site. You're going to have players such as Pennsyl, Daddy West, Blue Card, and Mentality all holding these holes above, waiting for attackers to try to push in if they are not able to fully get top floor control, which most likely will be very difficult.
Pennsyl is pushing up with that clash. Vidge might have to use some of that lifeline utility early on to push Pennsyl back a little bit towards office slash fountain area. He is going to fall back just a tad bit, still opting to stay in that office with Daddy West helping him out from that armory side. But it seems like PSU is stalling as they're kind of unsure about how to push and approach this clash. Clash is not an operator we see very often here at CEA, so it is a little bit hard, but C Nacho is actually going to get a frag onto Mentality. Jaeger is down. Daddy West is going to respond by taking out Vidge. That is the Sophia. We are back at a tied 4v4.
That was a great nade coming out of the Sledge player who utilized that very underrated skylight here as Jaws will pick up Daddy West and another roamer upstairs falls. As now the Clash is going to have to solo push this IQ and really try to divide her attention as Blue Card's holding a nice passive angle, waiting for her to peek and overextend just that little bit. However, C Nacho will be joining Jaws, trying to take out this Clash because taking out a Clash 1v1 is not that easy. But if you can get it to a 2-on-1, you have a little bit more of a chance as she's fallen back and is utilizing these holes here as a frag grenade does go out, but it misses off the wooden barricade as the castle has rotated all the way into CCTV and might try to make a flank.
Rocket is currently by themselves holding down the site. Epic opened up that wall into Tellers. Rocket is going to have a little bit of a tall order against him, but is just barely going to miss that kill onto Epic. Very close, but Blue Card is nearby to back the team up with Pennsyl slowly rotating back, looking up metal stairs. Jaws is going to peek down, but Epic is going to get a frag onto Rocket with Blue Card opening that wall and getting a kill onto C Nacho, putting it in slight favor, but Epic is going to take out Blue Card with Pennsyl actually taking out Jaws with the Clash. The diffuser is going down with 3 seconds left. There's not much, but the pings are going out. Pennsyl has a chance here to use that powerful SMG to get a few kills here. Is going to get peeked, however, by Penn State. With that, Destroyer is going to secure the first round of the tiebreaker map for Penn State.
Yeah, and that's sort of the result you expect of this bomb site. It's very difficult for defenders to win, and having a 2-1 split is sort of expected, especially if you're a strong defending team such as RIT, which is the abbreviation for Rochester Institute of Technology. However, they will be able to go back up to the Armory Lockers archive site that we've already seen them win once, and they will be trying to repeat once again.
Yeah, I mean, the Clash is coming out again. I would not be surprised if Mentality 6 picks off of that and picks a different operator. However, I do not know whether RIT is going to lock in that Clash. They are going to 6 pick off to the Wamai, so no longer worth analyzing the Clash pick. But the Wamai is again a new operator, could be very, very useful to some of the utility that Penn State is going to bring, specifically the frag grenades that have been working very well for Penn State throughout the night.
Yeah, they've been able to go down below and get frag kills, which are just sort of free utility usage to translating to kills, which is very efficient because winning a gunfight's not quite as, or it's a little bit harder than just clicking your grenade button, throwing it at an angle, and getting rewarded with a big 120 coming across your screen and your points going up. As now RIT has opted to bring the Echo once again, which, as we do like to say, is a very powerful operator as the time starts to dwindle away. Those yokai drones are hidden in a very good way and can survive all the way to the end of the round and make it very crucial for Jaws on the IQ to stay alive. If they're trying to go for a plant, the IQ scanner is a very good counter for these yokai drones, as they are a little bit difficult to see, but they do get lit up and pinged quite in an easy fashion for somebody like IQ to take out.
Yeah, we're going to have a lot of RIT actually sitting towards the B site. We did see Daddy West actually is down all the way in Tellers right now.
Yep, and he is rotating out and does seem to find out Jaws, and that's the IQ off the board from the calculated aggression of Pennsyl on the Jaeger. He barely takes any damage from that endeavor, and that's one of the most powerful operators on this attacking side in the form of the IQ being destroyed, and that's going to allow these yokai drones to survive another day, and it's going to be very difficult to get rid of them.
Yeah, we did see Pennsyl take a little bit of damage. Jaws, as you said, is going to be down for the count with RIT getting that opening pick for the round. Still 2 minutes left in the round, so PSU is not down for the count, especially when they have a lot of fragging power. And most of their operators, that Twitch and that Sophia, are very strong operators to go up against in a 1v1 gunfight, especially when Vidge and Destroyer are sitting behind them. Penn State, with 1:45 left in the round, clock is ticking down. They're slowly getting some map control near office. Definitely smart them to go for that office push, as C Nacho is coming up close and personal with the office defenders.
However, Blue Card does have his Nitro Cell lineup to try to get the player off of ventilation windows. However, there does not seem to be anybody out there just yet, as the Nitro Cell does not connect. But connecting to the drone are the shots of Mentality, as Ketzel's also playing below, watching that triple wall reinforcement, as when Vidge walks in, he will be punished accordingly for the lack of drone work. That patch being opened really does create a nice line of sight and really choke out these PSU attackers that are trying to push the backside.
Destroyer practicing very good head level pixel peeking. Gonna get down. Mentality out for the count. That will my charge. That magnet gonna take out one of the frags for C Nacho. Utility is being lost, but that wall is going to be open, and Blue Card is actually going to be injured and finished off by C Nacho. Getting the double for the round. Ketzel is very dangerous to Penn State, as that position can potentially get one or two of them, as C Nacho is going to be injured. We did see there that Daddy West was flanking all the way around, as Epic is going to plant that diffuser right next to that breakable hatch. Daddy West is going to get actually a C4 kill onto Epic, stopping the diffuse, and all of a sudden Rochester is going to take that match for the win.
Yeah, and that is the round going, as Ketzel puts on, I believe, a 3K, or maybe even a 4K. I wasn't paying too much attention to that kind, but he did have a great round nonetheless, as he was just flying around, utilizing that first floor as a nice pathway in between, taking that initial engagement on the IQ, and using that open hatch to take out Vidge and other players that wanted to enter in through triple. As now they take a 3-1 lead, Daddy West is going to flash that Caviera pick, giving me a little bit of excitement, but instantly switch it onto the smoke before finally making up his mind, picking the Ella.
Yeah, that Ella can be pretty strong holding some stairwells, especially if RIT does what they did on the previous round, that they played this map, this site, sorry, I cannot find the correct word. Holding metal stairs and the back stairwell can be very advantageous to stopping anyone from Penn State rotating from the first floor to the second floor to help take control of Armory and Office, because as we saw last time, that's just so vital to how this site plays. If you can't get control of that as an attacker, you're just not going to be able to win the round, and that's exactly what happened at Penn State.
Yeah, you have to get the roam presence gone, and you have to roam clear out players such as Ketzel, who can just do so much damage on the backside at the end of the round, and that's what we're gonna have to see come out of Penn State if they want to attack this ventilation workshop site successfully. They're gonna have to go upstairs, and they're gonna have to clear out everybody that's playing above, which right now is Blue Card, Mentality, and Ketzel, all very prolific fraggers on these operators of Mute, Jaeger, and Castle. I'm gonna say Ketzel once again, but there's gonna be a whole lot of remodeling going down, as two shotguns are going to blast open some nice and long angles in the castle. Barricades are going to act as a utility sponge to start taking away any utility that the attackers want if they want to push in and take out these attackers sitting safely inside.
Yeah, almost half a minute into the round, it looks like we're going to see a very similar push that Penn State ran last time. They're going to try to get control of Armory. They're going to try to get control, but actually changed my mind. Destroyer rushed up metal, taking out Daddy West right off the bat. They have control of that half of second floor. That is CCTV, and that's going to be pretty advantageous for them, as they now have a base of operations to go from, especially as Mentality is going to be knocked down to 2 or 3 HP.
Yep, and that's a whole lot of damage done to Mentality and Ketzel, as now Epic is going to be placing down his exothermic charge and breaching that wall and forcing the player playing half wall to fall back, as now Ketzel does accidentally take out Mentality with a bit of a team kill and will have to drop down on hatch and relinquish all top floor control here, but he will take out C Nacho with a beautifully placed headshot from the UMP 45 all the way towards main door, and it's all left up to, actually Blue Card now does fall to Vidge, and that is top floor control all the way done to Penn State, leaving only Pennsyl and Rocket alive with not that much HP down on site.
Not much utility too, because those Yokai drones are now pretty easy to take out for Jaws, who has that IQ scanner. Is probably taking them out as we speak. We can hear those shots going out, taking out mute jammers, Yaokais, pretty much anything that breathes electricity, if that even makes sense as a sentence to say. But as you said, PSU is dominating the second floor control. Pennsyl and Rocket have to hold this up for their team and possibly could get them to a 4-1 lead.
Yeah, taking a 4-1 lead would be quite commanding, but it would force them back to that bathroom teller's bomb site that they were not able to successfully hold. This last time, as now a drone is coming out, and the location of the Echo is now known to be over towards the workshop area. However, Pennsyl, I do believe, has not been droned out and is playing a very aggressive angle as the final player is pushing up, being Epic, is pushing up onto the window with Diffuser, but he will win his gunfight, as Vidge also wins his gunfight onto Rocket and ends out this round and makes the scoreline of 3-2 in favor of RIT.
And if you're Penn State, that's not the worst place to be right now. We talk a lot about the magical 4-2 split where defenders on defender side of maps will often win 4 of the 6 rounds and a half, and the attackers will win 2 of the 4. And this could hold true here as we're going to go back to ventilation room workshop on that first floor. Same side as last time, but if RIT switches it up enough and actually stops the rush coming out from Destroyer or C-Nacho or whoever really opts to go for that early game rush, then we could see that classic 4-2 split, which PSU would not be in the worst position then. It is border, so it is no one's map pick, so no one has a home field advantage here.
Yes, and this is the final map, and whoever takes this does go all the way to the Invite League Finals, which is a very prestigious place to take indeed, as they will be fighting for quite a big prize pool sponsored by CORSAIR. They also are giving some nice gear to every player of the winning team. Big shout outs to them. But there's still a lot of Siege to be played, as we're only about halfway done with this map, as Penn State's going to try to repeat what they just did and win this force floor bomb site once again and tie the score line up. However, Rochester will most likely just be trying to stay alive upstairs just a little bit longer and not get cleared out in the incredibly fast and effective manner that Penn State was able to clear out those roamers last time around.
Attackers have recovered their diffuser.
Yeah, we are going to see a push from the exterior ventilation area, air conditioning, whatever you like to call it, towards this CCTV side of second floor. And so far, they have no one to really contend with, as Blue Card and Mentality are really staying towards Armory Locker's office's side. Destroyer's Twitch drone is moving up, trying to find any utility that they can, but Blue Card and Mentality and Pennsyl, actually, who's sitting in Armory, are going to be waiting for PSU and trying to win their gunfights that they did not get so lucky on in the last round.
Yep, and so with about 2 minutes left, there haven't been any engagements quite yet, but I'm predicting that that's going to change quite quickly, as now Destroyer's Twitch drone will go in and try to take out any mute jammers that are placed upstairs, as the rest of the attackers are now going up and trying to breach this armory wall, making Pennsyl a little bit uncomfortable as more drones are coming in. He's going to opt to go over towards the hatch and small office and potentially drop if things get too hot in this kitchen, as he will go down, as Vidge is holding a really nice angle outside on ventilation, as he's held it many times before, showing how powerful of a position that area is.
Yeah, especially putting a Zofia there, you're putting a lot of frag power there. Speaking of frag, Blue Card is going to get another SMG-11 headshot onto Destroyer. Blue Card doing very well with the SMG tonight. Gun a lot of people do not really like to use. It is very frantic, but in the meantime, Vidge is pushing up and trying to get so many kills. Just put a lot of pressure on Mentality, who is yet to fall back. Daddy West is going to pick up Jaws, but Vidge is going to finally pick up Mentality with C-Nacho picking up Daddy West. It's a 2v3 for RIT, but C-Nacho is down, not out quite yet. Vidge and Epic are on second floor, holding the site with long angles from above.
Yep, it's still up to Blue Card and Rocket, and those Yokai drones are still there, but not anymore, as Vidge picks up his third kill of the round with a headshot through the floor. Now Blue Card is the only one left on RIT trying to clutch out this scenario. He does not have a nitro cell anymore and armed just with the SMG-11 for these mid to long range engagements. He's going to have his work cut out from him as Epic is going over towards this workshop, a window, trying to get a plant off with the help of Vidge, who's now dropped main lobby, and trying to help cut these rotations as the Mute does rotate into supply room. He might be able to get a free kill onto the Zofia, who unfortunately just walks on inside, and now Blue Card's position is known and he's locked out of sight. This Vidge is just going to hold this rotation masterfully, and the diffuser's starting to go down. Now it's a 45-second left on the post-plant situation as Epic jumps outside and will still have his Claymore to place out there, as well as Vidge also outside, making this a very difficult retake for Blue Card.
Epic is going up to armor, and I would not be Blue Card is going up to armor, and I would not be surprised if he attempts a run-out jump from that window. It's pretty much the only chance he has left, as there are only 10 seconds left to defuse, but Vidge getting the Claymore kill onto Blue Card. Penn State is going to actually make this a 3-3, which I would say is definitely a good attacking side on board.
Yeah, it's a very good attacking side, considering they started off down at 2-1, and it did just seem as if RIT was not able to make the adjustments of Penn State trying to defend that first floor bomb site, as they lost it on the final 2 rounds. But now we're going to see exactly what Penn State has in their pocket as they go towards Armory Lockers, as the sides do switch, as we've hit that magical round 7 mark. Speaking of 7, Vidge has 7 kills on the board at the half, definitely putting out a really strong showing and showing why he's the #1 fragger in Invite thus far.
Yeah, and I'm excited because this means we have about another half at the very least fragging to come from all of these players. Currently 3-3, we will see at least 4 more rounds should one team sweep 4-0 in this half. But more than likely, this is probably going to be a 6-6 tie before overtime, or a 5-7, 4-7 matchup. And that's going to be very exciting to watch, as both of these teams have come so close after months of preparation, hard work, and well-fought matches in Invite League. This is coming down to it. It's the last map a team could potentially play until the fall, and that's a lot of weight on these players' shoulders. Not only are they currently live and playing in a semifinals match, but this is a culmination or the potential end of all their hard work this season.
Yeah, and not only are both of these teams have been working all season, I do know our Rochester and Penn State are both perennial powerhouses within Invite. They've been here in Invite, they know the ropes, and they've been here for a while. And I do believe that a lot of these players are on the older age of the spectrum in their collegiate careers, so I do think some of them, this could potentially be their last map played in CEA. So they definitely want to get out with a win and go towards finals, as a lot is riding on the rest of this game. And on this half being tied, whoever does win this half will win the game, or we will see overtime, which could be very exciting in a best of 3. Having it go down to the absolute wire would definitely have a lot of tension and a lot riding.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen some of these players play since I joined CEA as a caster a couple seasons ago, and it's very exciting to watch a lot of these players and teams grow and adapt their strategies over time. Speaking of adaptation, Buck is going to be going downstairs despite having no frag grenades, still a very prevalent pick using that verticality. From below, Daddy West is actually going to open up some nice angles onto common hold spots in the back of Armory Lockers. As PSU is pretty centered, they have 2 people in offices area along with Destroyer on top of that supply cabinet. And this is looking like a vertical gameplay here, as Daddy West is still opening up a lot of angles from below.
Yep, and with these angles opening up below, it's going to force players such as Epic and Destroyer to really shift around their positions into what is now safe areas, as Blue Card is holding a really nice angle on the player, as Pennsyl actually has a really nice lineup from down below as he read into the position of Destroyer sitting on top of that bookshelf. However, Vidge will just go ahead and take his spot and peek right back where one of his teammates died. Most likely they're not going to predict a person switched up into this spot, and it could spell disasters. Now we're seeing some shots come out from the Rook onto the outside window as Rocket pushes up towards Fountain and starts breaking open that barbed wire.
With a 3v3 here, sorry, 3-3 round score. Daddy West is doing some absolute damage on Epic and is going to be injured, but C Nacho is going to take out blue card with Mentality, getting the refrag back down. Seems like Vidge has a nice angle on the top of that cabinet still, but Mentality could snag this frag real quick. Is going to see the shoulder, not going to get the head though, as Vidge is going to live to see another 15 seconds of fighting as flashes are going in. Vidge is going to be holding down this doorway. Epic and Jaws are going to be rotating back, but Epic is going to take out Daddy, and Vidge is going to take out Quetzal. It's all up to Mentality and Rocket, but they're going to go down to Vidge. Vidge getting, I believe that's a 4K on that round. Fantastic showing from Penn State defenders, winning their first round of the half, and that's their third round in a row, building some momentum for their team.
Yeah, and using the pistol to full effect on that prone, getting a little bit of RNG with that hip fire spray, as he will take down 2 and take the round, as well as reclaim the lead for Penn State. Actually, I believe this is the first time taking the lead on this map, as they have switched to defense and are now in the driver's seats for the rest of this map.
Yeah, we're going to be going on to round 8. Vidge sitting at 10 kills. Great showing for Penn State. Definitely a big part in the fact that they are up 4-3. Rocket is going to switch to Gridlock, and that's the first time she's going to be picked up on this map. We did see her played a little bit on Bank, not so much on Villa. And this is going to be a huge round, because if Rochester loses this, Penn State is in the danger zone of getting to round 6. And that's not something RIT wants. If Penn State gets to round 6, RIT is going to have to force overtime or lose the entire series. That's going to be very hard to come out of if they lose this round.
Yep, and we are seeing the first floor being defended for the first time, as Penn State will be going there, as they're seeing and to set up in a very similar fashion to how RIT did. They're bringing the castle, and they're bringing a whole lot of people upstairs with a very similar lineup, except the Echo will not be played in favor of C Nacho picking the Rook. Most likely he's going to be upstairs trying to hold these long angles, maybe get a little bit of aggressive with a spawn peek over towards Valley here, as there actually will be a player coming up, but he will just crouch underneath, as blue card will start droning away and see the Rook challenging the CCTV door.
Yeah, and that's going to be pretty critical. They're going to actually have C Nacho rotate back down, as the attackers are slowly making their way up towards CCTV. They're droning it out. We see Rocket's drone right there on the observer cam, droning out that floor. We're going to see Vidge take out that drone, so they know where Vidge is, but they're going to have to do a little bit more to get him out of that position. See, C Nacho is currently there in that lobby tellers area on the first floor. Currently sitting, definitely going to get a very light flank here, potentially deadly late round.
Yep, and there's still a 5v5 here as a minute has gone down, and there's a whole lot of drone work going out, as RIT is stacked up inside the server room of CCTV, trying to start pushing in towards Archives and Armory, forcing out these roamers if they are able to do so. Now Daddy West is most likely going to the Sledge will go ahead and rip open that wall with his hammer, opening up a path inside a fountain, as Quetzal's holding a nice crossfire into anybody who's trying to play in that position. However, Vidge is just locked down over towards the Africa wall of Armory, as bullets are starting to fly over him and Jaws. They're just sitting idly by, wasting time as they do so.
Daddy West and friends from RIT are currently right up against that wall. They are taking some control of the second floor, but if you notice on the cam, the site isn't on second floor. They're still trying to get control of Armory so they can start to get control of first floor, and it's not going very quick for them, as Jaws finally goes down. First kill of the round coming out from blue card. With Jaws down, they have a little bit more roam clear, but Vidge is going to manage to down one, but Rocket picking up the second kill for RIT of the round.
Yep, and that could have been a really deadly position, as the Jaeger was still alive and they did not seem to know. They lacked the critical information at his position until he started shooting. He unfortunately was not able to fully take them out, but it's now all left up to Epic, C Nacho, and Destroyer to try to stop this very potent RIT attack that now has top floor control. However, they don't have very much time, as now the destruction is coming out there's only about 20 seconds left for them to get onto the bomb site and start getting this diffuser down or try to frag out the remaining players. And now Destroyer will be using that rotate hole to throw out a smoke grenade, as well as his MP or his SMG-11 will take out Mentality and drop the diffuser onto the ground, as now C-Nacho's rotating over towards main lobby door and will punch open that barricade and get a pick onto blue card. The diffuser still on the ground, but a drop from Pennsyl will be the response as he takes out Epic. It's now a 2v3 and there's 2 seconds left. Destroyer is trying to get some wall bangs here and will down Daddy West and as well as finish him off, but the diffuser's starting to get dropped. That's why it's now a post-plant situation as Rocket pops off, takes out C-Nacho as trades are going everywhere, and it's a 2v1. Destroyer only has 1 HP left, but Rocket is weak as well, and Pennsyl just sitting up on the stairs as Destroyer gets a shot onto Rocket, and he's now going to start the defuse as he is safe behind the corner, and he will drop off. It's Pennsyl going to try to drop away and will finally get the post-plant kill onto Destroyer and take out that crazy round for RIT.
Yeah, absolutely insane round right there, and very critical for RIT. Now they tie it back 4-4, and it's the same thing we've seen all night. It's give or take, but if anything from the last 2 maps has taught us that around round 9 or 10, which is where we are now, a team starts to pull away, and either team could pull away here. We could see this go all the way to round 15 of map 3 if we get a 6-6 tie, but we're going to be back to Ventilation Room Workshop, and it's all going to be up to RIT versus PSU and who can outperform on this site and take the slight lead.
Yeah, this has been an absolute slugfest as each round is answered by an adjustment, and another round it's just going punch after punch, and we're gonna have to see who's able to go the distance as we've already played 2 matches and we're on round 9 of map 3. They're saying Mentality switch onto the Ying here, maybe trying to bring in that new meta, is throwing in those 4 Candelas is very beneficial as you can fully burn out 2 ADSs by yourself with those Candelas, as well as having smoke grenades in your pocket and a very powerful LMG that just got buffed recently.
Yeah, I mean, Ying is an absolutely beast of an attacker now. As you said, taking out 2 ADSs with 1 operator. In fact, all 3 if you bring the smokes. That's going to be insanely powerful. Not to mention that they don't have Wamai, and Wamai is going to aid those ADSs in helping to counter that Ying. And interesting enough, we're not going to see any hard breach at all be brought by RIT. Instead, they're going to opt for double vertical gameplay with Daddy West picking up the buck and blue card, picking up the sledge this round.
And that's going to be the vertical play that these RIT attackers definitely need to start utilizing, as we did see them struggle to take CCTV and Armory as well as Archives just that little bit. However, they were finally able to get their onslaught of frags and continue trading out with their man advantage to get the diffuser down and play a really great post plant where we saw Pennsyl finish off the round with his pistol. But if PSU has anything to say about it, they're going to try to hold this upstairs just that little bit longer and waste just that little bit more time.
We're going to see an opening pick come out very fast from C-Nacho, not even a minute into the round, and all of a sudden, Rocket is down for the count. We're going to see some vertical gameplay come out from below, some shots coming up into that second floor armory area, with blue card looking all the way towards lobby, but not finding anyone quite yet. Vidge and team are holding very tight and wasting a good amount of time off of RIT's clock. One thing that hurt RIT in the last round that cost them almost the round was the fact that it took them nearly a minute and a half to 2 minutes to get any sort of control of armory lockers.
But with the way RIT plays, they're definitely comfortable waiting until their execute is perfect. But Mentality gets an opening pick onto Jaws in responses down to Rocket being taken out. And now there's just Vidge left upstairs, and he's playing close on this soft wall and could see these attackers that are going inside of Archives as 2 are going here, and Vidge will get wall banged out by Daddy West.
Yeah, Daddy West with that kill onto Vidge. That's pretty big as RIT now has this vital control. With a minute and 5 seconds left in the round, they still have the time, but Mentality is actually going to be shot down a little bit, going to be put at 20 HP with the diffuser. Yeah, that was actually, I believe, we got confirmation that was a little bit of team damage coming out there. So unfortunate that that mistake came so late in the round, but still 50 seconds left on the clock. Daddy West is opening up a lot of angles for RIT to use, but C Nacho is actually going to use some rotation to get Quetzal. All of a sudden, it's 3v3 with 35 seconds left in the round. Absolutely huge round for both of these teams.
Now Daddy West will drop out to the window and is going to try to push in and get a plant going as his teammates are going to burn away these ADSs, and maybe a plant's going to go down. But Destroyer will take out Mentality with that SMG-11, putting it to a 3v2 situation as the smoke grenades start popping in, but Blue Card will knock down Epic and leave it just up to C Nacho and Destroyer. It's the Smoke and the Rook versus the Sledge and the Buck. Soft Breach versus Defenders, as now C Nacho is sneaking around and going to utilize the Castle Barricade Gap to get his triple kill onto the feet as Blue Card witches out this SMG-11, but is not able to finish out the round as Destroyer will clutch it out and reclaim the lead for Penn State.
This is a very close game, and if the last two rounds haven't showed you that, both coming down to 1v1s, 1v2s, then I don't know what I would call a close game to you. We're going down to 5v4 Armory Lockers, and this is maybe the most critical round that we're going to see of the night. If Penn State wins this site, which is a very defendable site by most standards, they are now 6-4, and they need to win one of the two following rounds to win the map and win the series. If RIT wins this, they tie it 5-5 and toss it up into air as whether we go to overtime or a team wins. But if Penn State wins this, they heavily increase their chance of coming out here with the W.
Yeah, I'm going to make... Yeah, if Penn State is to win this site, they are going to have to go to the tertiary bomb site of either the Passport area or the Bathroom and Teller bomb site that we saw RIT defend, which, as we've said, is not the best bomb site to defend. So this round definitely is a very large in its impact. If Penn State's able to cross that 6-point threshold, they're going to have a little bit of breathing room to try to take out this map for the rest of the rounds. But Rochester Technology is going to have to definitely try to push this back and respond to the gut punch that Penn State just delivered, as we've seen every round just go back and forth in a really exhilarating matchup between two titans of teams.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting some top quality gameplay from these teams, and this is going to be, as we said, a critical round. We see one of the defenders actually currently outside that wall of Armory Lockers, but C Nacho's going to come back in, going to hold that CCTV room to the best of their ability. Blue Card running that Monty is definitely going to be an interesting operator to look at. Quetzal's actually going to pick up Capital, which is an operator we really haven't seen played yet on board.
Yeah, they're definitely seeing Blue Card on the Monty. We saw how strong he was on the Villa attacks using this operator. He's sort of just a giant mobile metal drone that can't be taken out easily, and it definitely caused a lot of adjustment from the side of Penn State to try to mitigate his impact. However, we haven't seen him brought on border just yet, and he's all the way up East Stairs, holding this long hallway that a lot of defenders like to use as rotations, and a lot of gunfights could go down of the long-range variety. But Vidge does seem to sense that there are some players up on East Stairs as he's going to start swinging, and he sees the drone that will be evident that there's a player here, and Rocket will pop out and take about half of the damage off of C Nacho.
We still have Vidge and team holding this very hard, though. Blue Card is going to start pushing from East Stairs towards Office as we see Rocket using that super shorty to open up a hole in the wall. Vidge is nearing a run out, and it is going to get one down, two kills on Mentality and Rocket, and poor Blue Card can't do anything on the Monty. Is actually going to manage to take out Vidge. But Daddy was taking out C Nacho. All of a sudden, it's back at a 3v3. This is such a back and forth round. With 1:15 left in the round, it seems like Quetzal has pinned down one of the defenders. Going to use an asphyxiation bolt to flank him out, and is actually going to do a lot of damage. Destroyer for PSU is down, but not out.
Yep, and he's right next to that fire, but now the Buck will be shooting down below as now Jaws picks up the kill onto Daddy West. It's just left up to Quetzal and Blue Card, who definitely do not have the health advantage. They have about 30 health, maybe closer to 25. between both of them, and Epic is still alive with the yokai drones as he's just counting down and gonna try to cancel out this plant as much as possible, waiting for Jaws to rotate over. As Pennsyl is watching this rotation, Jaws is right beneath, gonna try to use the shotgun to take out the Monty, but his shots will not land as Epic is in a little bit of an aim duel with Pennsyl, who's sitting outside on these windows. It is a post-plant situation, and it's a little bit of a tricky one as now Pennsyl picks up the kill onto Epic, leaving it all up to Jaws, who's now stuck at the bottom of East Stairs with those track stingers popping off his health, and he's stepping on those Lego-like structures that Gridlock does provide. Pennsyl and Blue Card are both just playing really passive angles as pings are coming out on the yokai drones as their exact locations, as Jaws is trying to rotate out, but he doesn't have any time left. He would have to get on the diffuser right now, and it's not enough, as RIT will now take this round from the grasp of defeat and will tie up this game once again with a beautiful response to the previous round loss.
Yeah, and that is the critical round RIT needed to bring this to 5-5. Armory Lockers is still unlocked, ironically to say, for PSU, so they are going to choose that site unless they really want to spice it up and go Teller's Archives Teller's Bathroom, or go to Customs Inspection. But looks like we're getting similar lineups from both teams here, and it's 5-5. We could easily see an overtime on map 3.
Yeah, either of the teams are either going to have to win 2 rounds in a row, which nobody's really been able to do thus far, as each round is just back and forth, or we're just going to see it go all the way to overtime. There's nothing I would like more than seeing a best of 3 overtime coming in as the CEA Invite League playoffs, as we're gonna see the second floor being brought once again from PSU, trying to tweak up their defense and not get destroyed as much by the Monty. However, the Monty will not be picked, and Blue Card will be on the IQ to try to mitigate that impact that the Echo drones did have in the late round.
Yeah, and I think that's a very smart pick, because not only the Echo, but the black eye cameras from C Nacho are going to be very, very difficult to deal with. Not to mention, we are on Armory Lockers, and that IQ is going to be able to help take out those electric claws from Jaws, and pretty much every gadget being deployed to some extent by PSU can be countered by that IQ. Thatcher has not been on the board this entire night. No one wants to play with our poor boy Thatcher, so IQ is going to have to do for now. We're going to have Daddy West also run that buck, and that could be also potentially deadly. The last time we went to Armory Lockers earlier in the map, not the one previous to this, but the one at the start of the half, they really like to use that buck to open up as many angles on PSU's hold as they could from below.
Yeah, and PSU was just sort of taken off guard with the amount of angles that were opened up from these RIT attackers, and there were some positions that you typically deem as safe as an anchor that were all of a sudden made into firing ranges, as the buck was just working with synergy from somebody down below. You blast open the floor, and somebody already had their crosshairs fixed, waiting to get somebody from down below. As now we're also seeing the buck tried to get a nade kill onto a player on half wall, but the destroyer was just out of the radius of that fragmentation grenade.
Yeah, we're going to have Pennsyl still sitting up there. C Nacho is very far roaming all the way below, but maybe not. This could be a C4 setup coming out from C Nacho, and I would not be surprised if we see one coming out here. As we suspected, Daddy West is using that buck. We see in there some of the holes in the floor are already opened up. PSU is running out of room to stand on over in that corner. That could be potentially deadly as the round goes on, as flashes are coming in and Destroyer is in a little bit of a tricky situation.
Yeah, he's going to be trying to take out this Cade Electroclaw from down below without having to expose himself too much, but his labors do not seem to be fruitful thus far, as he can't quite get the shot onto it, as they are going to try to breach in, as C Nacho gets a pick onto Pennsyl, and that's the Capital gone. That's a whole lot of plant ability here, as those smoke grenades and those asphyxiation bolts really allow you to push out defenders and block lines of sights to help you get a plant off. However, the Mentality's Habana is still alive, as he's going to be placing his X-Cairo pellets onto the armory wall, trying to get a nice angle and another pathway into sight, as well as possibly push back Destroyer, who's playing close on this wall with his SMG-11 and shotgun combination in hand. Jaws is also down below, or right next to him in small office. You're going to try to use those footholds that he's made to block anybody that's rushing into sight, really punish them with that powerful gun of the TCSG, as now Destroyer will throw out his first smoke canister and deny entry from that breach as well as the doorway.
With 30 seconds left in the round, it is coming down to the wire. Both teams want this round to guarantee they do not lose right out of the bat. Destroyer is taking a lot of damage from below, but Jaws is going to fire back, taking out Mentality, but Blue Card is going to take out Jaws with the quick refrag. Daddy West is going to take out C-Notch. It's a 3v3. The smoke is going down, but Destroyer's smoke will pick up Blue Card. All of a sudden, Daddy West picks up Epic, and it's a 2v2 with Destroyer down low, getting picked up by Rocket, and RIT is going to win the round with Daddy West picking up Vidge. RIT going to 6 points. It is now match point on the last round before potential overtime. If Penn State wins, we will see another 3 rounds of Border. If RIT wins, we will close out the series with RIT advancing to the finals of 2020 Spring Invite League here at CEA.
You know, we're definitely going to have to see players such as Vidge and C-Nacho really step it up for this final round to try to force overtime, where actually it was an even scoreline going into half, so RIT will be defending as they did start defending on this round, but it is going to be a little bit of a toss-up to who wins, as it does seem both of these rounds, nobody's really been able to take a definitive advantage on attacking versus defensing side, with Pennsyl and Daddy West hitting the double-digit mark here on this map of Border, and everything is now on the line, as this is potentially the last round of this series. If RIT is able to take this bomb site once again, then they will be going to the finals to face off against the winner of CMU and University of Akron, as PSU has elected to defend the second floor bomb site once again, despite them losing it 2 times in a row to the onslaught of attackers coming from Rochester Institute of Technology.
I mean, you know what they say, third time is a charm. Throughout the night, we really haven't seen teams try the 3rd site in a row. On Bank and on Villa, they've just opted to just switch it up, go tertiary site instead, or maybe an off site you wouldn't expect, even when the circumstances aren't there that would usually call for one. But here, as you said, this is the map, or the site that RIT has won twice in a row, and PSU is going to pick it. And this could be a very good strat by them because, you know, 3rd time's a charm. They know how RIT really plays the site and they can adapt. But it is a very risky maneuver because if RIT wins this, it's lights out. It is just past midnight and it could be midnight for one of these teams at this round.
Yep, and we're seeing a backside push into Archives, most likely as Rocket and the rest of the crew have gone ahead and are playing these repels. This is the exact angle where we saw Vidge jump out of the window and pick up a triple kill. However, there is not a Monty on the board this time, as he does have this window prepped. He is waiting for the sound cues to get really aggressive. With this Jaeger, we've seen him be so deadly on. The rest of his attackers, our defenders, are on site. However, the Alibi is trying to hold down CCTV with her Prismas, trying to play a little bit of mind games with the attackers that are going to try to push him out of this very powerful choke point position that can make it insanely difficult to try to breach Armory Wall.
Yeah, if you see our observer cam here, we can see the general setup from PSU on that 2nd floor. We got 3 operators, I cannot count, sitting on Armory. Vidge is currently sitting in this office fountain area, currently being pushed pretty hard by RIT, and last but not least, we have C-Nacho holding off CCTV. With that hatch open, Vidge was very critical in taking some early picks here off of RIT, and could potentially get him again. Does see the head and is going to fire some shots, but is not going to be enough to do any damage at all. Mentality is going to fire some shots back, but none are going to connect.
Yep, and C-Nacho is still in this position in CCTV with 1 minute and 20 left, so his flank could be really deadly as Daddy West is trying to use those buck holes once again to force out any defenders that are holding these common angles, as we are seeing he's bucking right below where Vidge has been sitting. However, Vidge has fallen back to sight because there's only 1 minute left, and it's a 5v5 here, and things are about to get crazy on this final round of Border, potentially final round of Border, as RIT is going to set up their execute, most likely going to try to use Rocket and Pennsyls utility to smoke off and get a plant down and play the post plant as Mentality is pushed all the way up and is going to try to breach this wall inside of office, and that's exactly where Vidge is sitting. Now Daddy West falls through the hatch as Vidge picks up his first down of the map, or of the round, as he's going to be peeking around, getting 1 and 2 as C-Nacho gets a double kill on a Mentality and Rocket and swings it into the favor of Penn State. So now the long angle is opened up by Blue Card after the breach, and the smoke grenades are going to try to stop them going into sight. Vidge is still watching below, carefully waiting for this buck to maybe repeat, because he does not have the information that he has downed him because we were playing competitive rules. Blue Card's trying to use this long lines of sight, but nobody's peeking as Daddy West has now been revived and will be flying straight into sight, but Jaws and Vidge will both pick up a kill as another one trades out. Epic gets the kill and puts it into overtime of map 3.
And this is overtime. And we are going to round 13. I have not seen this many rounds in one map in CEA for a long, long time. Finally, we're going to get the 6-6 overtime that we've been waiting for between these two teams tonight. Both of these teams, 5 players on each side, are trying to get into the finals to fight either Carnegie Mellon or University of Akron next week. And this is going to be for all the marbles. RIT, by the rules, will start on defense because they defended first. The next round, Penn State will go on defense. In the final third round, if we get to it, RIT will defend. And this could go either way here with 10 seconds left in the pick phase. Sorry, we are about to get into round 1 of overtime.
Yep, and we're seeing the Cade being brought by Blue Card for the first time. He's going to be utilizing that Nitro Cell and that TCSG to take a lot of damage from attackers if they try to push in, as well as using his Electro Claws to try to keep this armory wall from being breached. It's going to require a player such as Jaws to go down below and try to find them with the IQ scanner, or maybe even Destroyer sending in his Twitch drone to zap away that utility. If you didn't know, Twitch's drone has been nerfed in one of the more recent patches, as it no longer does 10 damage to attackers, or to defenders, it only does 1. So now it is definitely a sort of a shift in Twitch drone usage to go away from trying to take health off defenders and definitely make it more towards its original intent of getting rid of electronic gadgets with that taser. We're seeing Mentality try to solo hold down Fountain area, joined in by Daddy West, who actually is now just going to drop the hatch, play down below, try to use his Nitro Cell if he's given the chance, as well as play some close quarters angles downstairs with that SMG-11 and shotgun combination that I've raved so much about.
Yeah, it's interesting that they're not putting anyone in CCTV. We saw Penn State put C-Nacho in CCTV pretty much 3 rounds in a row on the last half of the last half, or the last quarter, one might say. But now it seems like they're going to have Quetzal and Daddy West sitting on first floor waiting for the flank. So right here we see Penn State is already inside of CCTV and they have complete control. They have it claymored off. There's nothing RIT can really do to regain it without straight up pushing into it. But they're going to try to hold that for as long as they can, as with 2 minutes left in the round, Penn State still has to open up that exterior wall with that thermite played by Epic.
And Blue Card does go ahead and use his Nitro Cell, trying to use that lineup that he's given so much damage to Vidge once again, but Vidge is just going to sit back as Quetzal now picks up C-Nacho on his roam, and that's the Nomad, and that's going to be a whole lot of flank denial utility being gone as the Twitch drone takes out one of the Electro Claws and will allow a breach to go down onto Armory Wall, opening up a whole lot of options for Penn State going forward. But RIT does have the man advantage, and they will be looking to just keep on going with the trades as Vidge is holding a nice angle that we've seen him hold so many times, getting so many picks on any rotating players, as well as knocking out anybody who's sitting in office. Office is typically a really safe location, but when that wall right there next to Africa is not reinforced, the wall bangs are pretty easy if you have drone intel, such as how Penn State has been pushing forward. Epic's going to start droning in as the rest of this round is going to start flying in quite quickly as Vidge is going to burn away the ADS, protecting his site, and will be trying to frag out Blue Card sitting in archives as the rest of his team pushes in on Armory.
Yeah, as you said, Destroyer is inside. It's going to take some shots onto that go, but is not going to light them up quite enough. But Quetzal is going to pick up Vidge. That is one of the top frags down. Epic is planning the diffuser, but Jaws is going to pick up Rocket. Diffuser is still going down. Destroyer is going to pick up blue card. It's back to a 3v3 now with Destroyer holding a tight angle. Looks like 2 of the RIT attackers are all the way over in CCTV. None of them are on site quite yet. The closest one is Daddy West and Quetzal, who are currently pushing in through small desk. Daddy West is going to peek around the corner, going to